It's 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. Or check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
Presented by Sharp Equipment. Get hooked on Sharp Equipment this year. Sharp Equipment has hooked up with Eastern Oklahoma Guide Service for a free guided fishing trip with the purchase of any Wacker Newson equipment. Along with getting a superior piece of equipment, you will get hooked up with a free guided fishing trip for the chance at a catch of a lifetime. Visit them at Sharp Equipment, 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or call them at 479-242-1406.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drugstore has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drugstore can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Tonight, a mainly clear sky. Overnight lows will drop down to near 75 degrees. Sunshine, a high into the upper 90s, low 90s across the south. Wednesday, sunny skies, highs mid to upper 90s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Green Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936.
372-2017.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 30 days. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it. Ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Take it to the house.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my heart, dog? Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
What's the name of one Razorback? It's vintage Matt Jones. Here we go. Right now, let's go to the field.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Good morning. Halftime at ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com. It is a beautiful Tuesday, boiling hot all across our listening audience across Arkansas. Phil Elson here along with Matt Jones. Christian Johnston producing today. We'll take you for the next 3 hours, and it's good to be with you guys again today. Morning, Matt. Tuesday morning, got Olympics. Hear from Sam Pittman later today. Ben Souders. Got to hear from John Calipari, 3 Razorback players yesterday. We got two more days if we can still count today in the month of July, and another day. If you're going outside during the middle of the day, you're going to feel the heat absolutely immediately. How you doing?
Hydrate. Happy Tuesday. Hydrate. Watch some of the men's Olympics. Watched them get the bronze medal yesterday. It was pretty cool. Watched a little more swimming. Yeah, Olympics are going on, so it's going to be heating up, and I think like most people, I like the Olympics probably more than most people, but I'm ready for the track and field events, ready to see the 400, the 200, the relays, and those are at the end of the tournament. But yeah, Olympics have been pretty cool.
I enjoyed watching swimming last night, and I did watch the replay of at least most of the men's gymnastics finals. What'd you think of your boy Steven Nedorosik?
Did you see him raising his glasses up because he didn't know what to do? You could see him afterwards. He's like, I don't know why I'm doing that, but it's hey, when you have one, it's like Brian Wilson. It's like the guy from the Giants. I think it's like Mariano Rivera. You have one job.
He was absolutely a closer.
You're
right.
Coming in last, and how cool to go out there and just not. I guess you can't get a perfect 10 anymore, so it can't be flawless. There's a couple things, but man, he crushed it.
I just love the look on the kid's face before he takes his glasses off, and he just gets those eyes nice and narrow and everything, knowing full well that his country's ability to win a medal for the first time since 2008 fully rested on that performance. So that was really fun to see, and I also like not just the performance but the reaction afterwards. Did you see him smiling on his way down just before he stuck the landing?
It's like
he
Chris
knew
Bryant.
He got it.
It's like Chris Bryant with the Cubs when he got that grounder and he's falling to the ground, smiling as he's throwing it to first because he knew. He's like, this is it.
Yeah, that was cool. So, and we'll have the women's gymnastics finals today, and bronze would be great, but you're usually expected on the women's side to be raising a gold medal when it comes to women's gymnastics in the finals.
How many, bless her heart, too, but how many limps does Simone Biles do? Is she going to limp the whole – is it kind of like her thing where she thinks – because even her coach has come out twice saying that she's not – there's nothing wrong with her. It's like, yeah, she's not. There's no way she could be able to do that at that level if there was really an injury there. There's no swelling. There's no nothing on it, but it's like she kind of likes the attention, I think.
I guess we got to take her at her word for what she says the injury is.
Number 2.
You know what I saw yesterday? It's independent of the Olympics. I saw, and I wasn't watching the game live. This has to go down as one of the single most badass things that a professional athlete in the United States has ever done. Even just between the lines, in and of itself, and the fact that it's a former Razorback that pulled it off makes this even cooler. I don't know if you saw what James McCann did yesterday. The Orioles had a doubleheader against Toronto. And so in a doubleheader, you're going to use your backup catcher. Adley Rutschman caught game 2. James McCann caught game 1. He's the 9th batter. Comes up in the first inning. Was facing a pitcher in Yariel Rodriguez, who was really struggling with command. He'd walked 4 batters up to that point. He'd already faced 8. And this is what happened with James McCann.
At a premium.
But then he got McCann in the helmet. James McCann is the second Oriole to be hit in the head this month. And I'm not sure it got him in the helmet. I think that may have hit James in the face. He is bleeding. He is being looked at by Brian Ebel. There is blood dripping from the face of James McCann. And James McCann is going to walk down toward first. I mean, I can't possibly stay in the game, right?
If anybody could, it would be James McCann, because that's how tough he is. Maybe he has to go touch first base and come out. I don't know how this works.
But James McCann has a New Jersey on. This is absolutely ridiculous. Well, here he comes. Listen to this ovation now. Everybody's going to get to their feet here. James McCann should be in the NHL.
I think Justin Turner looked at him like, dude, I can't believe you're standing in this ballgame.
So that's just the first inning. You think he returned to just run the bases? No. He finished the game. He caught the rest of the game with what we might find out later today, because he's going to be undergoing a CAT scan, is a broken nose. I saw an interview with him post-game, Matt. He had cotton stuffed up his nose. His eye was starting to swell to the point where he was having trouble seeing. That's how he played baseball yesterday. This hit by pitch happened in the first inning. I mean, he was able to get back out there because the Blue Jays made a pitching change, so there was some time for him to stop the bleeding, to change jerseys, and then decide whether or not he was going to keep getting out there and play baseball. You know, just to run the bases like that would be one thing. He caught 9 innings like that. I've never heard of this before. I think James McCann goes down in the annals of one of the toughest athletes in American history.
Man, I would put him up there with Ronnie Lott when he had to amputate his finger. You know, made sure lost a finger just to go back out there and keep on playing. That was pretty tough.
I've never seen anything like this before. I mean, I've seen a guy get hit in the helmet and be able to stay in the game, but these helmets are designed to withstand over 100 miles an hour, and the guy will feel it, but it usually isn't going to cause a problem. I've seen guys get hit in the face. Nobody stays in the game after getting hit in the face. If it's just a glancing blow, right? If it hits the ear hole and then the face, you know, maybe you don't quite have the same effect. This was flush right on his nose. And just think of what you got to do. It's not like you can hide behind the plate when you're catching. I mean, maybe you can hide a little bit in right field, but to have to catch 9 innings like that, I mean, and this is a guy that obviously takes his opportunity to play and goes out and does something with it. Backup catchers play once, maybe twice a week. I mean, I've seen, it's like the announcer said, that was the Orioles broadcast. He belongs in the NHL. I saw a girl with Arkansas basketball do this. I think it was 10 years ago. McKinley Bostad lost her teeth falling to the floor at the old Tad Pad in Oxford at Ole Miss. Front teeth fell down. She was tripped. And I do think she got back out there and played in the second half. She didn't play the remainder of the first half, but the bleeding stopped. She got back out there and played in the second half. That's that kind of toughness.
Kevin,
I've just never seen anything like that before.
I think Mbappe in the last Euros getting a broken nose, having to come back. He even missed a game, though. But I think Kevin Durant with the torn Achilles still coming back out there. You knew that he was going to tear it again. But how tough Robert Griffin III, when he was at the Redskins and his knee was, and he went out there still knowing that one hit and he couldn't finish the game. So, yeah, he's up there with some tough characters.
You know, I think of even like, Sandy Koufax. Every game he pitched, to a certain point, he was dealing with excruciating pain on the pitcher's mound. That's why he retired at such a young age, because it hurt so badly and he wanted to be able to use his arm. There's a toughness to that too. But man, there's a little bit of a difference when you're talking about your vision. When you deal with a broken nose, your eye socket's starting to puff up. He couldn't see everything coming in. And not only that, but then he still had 3 more at-bats the rest of the game, had a base hit and drove in a run. So it wasn't just like he was a bystander off to the side and just like, I'll just take 3 strikes so I can catch the rest of the game. No, he had real at-bats afterwards.
Thought you'd be taller. Pain's just weakness leaving the body.
He could actually be.
He could be the next Dalton.
He could actually be a bouncer at the Roadhouse.
They're going to do a third one of those.
Well, I still haven't seen the second one.
I haven't either. Jake Gyllenhaal's. You got to go. You got to see Jake Gyllenhaal. I think your boy McGregor makes a cameo in there and stuff. They bring all the theatrics, but yeah.
Well, he's the bad guy. I don't know if he's just cameo. It seems to me he's one of the bad guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he plays the part of the guy who had his throat ripped out in the first one. Now, again, if there isn't a throat being ripped out by Dalton, then you can't call it Roadhouse. And pain also can't hurt either. Halftime won't hurt on this Tuesday, because here's what you got. Easy breezy Tuesday, talking Arkansas athletics. Of course, we do have a lot of sound from yesterday's presser with Coach Calipari. Sam Pittman speaking today at 2. Ben Sauter, strength coach, 2:30. It is media day for Arkansas football, and camp starts tomorrow.
Oh, I was going to say, how perfect was it, calculated, just the genius of Coach Cal already getting his media day yesterday, and now he doesn't have to worry about it for 40 days, 45, to the end of camp or so before the next time you probably hear from Coach Cal.
It was yesterday, or it was
good timing.
Not until maybe September.
It was great timing by Coach Cal.
It was. So we'll talk about all of that with Bill King, Nashville Sports Radio, at about 1:15, talking with Dudley Dawson from Hogville in about an hour. And in a just quick minute, we're going to be speaking with voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, plus your calls and texts as we go throughout halftime today. And we'll be right back right after this.
You trying to say Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?
This is halftime.
We are here in the Bud Walton Arena, where it is about as loud as a building could get.
The loudest arena to start a game I've ever been in.
This is a hard place. You don't come here expecting to win. Let me tell you that.
The name, the brand, the identity that he brings to a program that has a storied, rich tradition, an outstanding fan base in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
ESPN 95.3 is live on location.
Live at Hardee's on Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith. Folks, we've got another qualifier here for the 19th annual football trip of a lifetime giveaway. This year, the Dallas Cowboys hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. You've got a chance to be there in Jerry World, AT&T Stadium, but you got to qualify first because we've got the contest coming up August the 24th, and it is going to be epic. Say, Ty, how do I qualify? How can I potentially wind up going to Jerry World? Well, eat a Monster Burger. Hunter.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive into Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app.
That's the blues. The song on the radio.
Your face. So back. Say wrong.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Back on halftime, we'll head right to our hotline. We've got the voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, with us here for a couple of segments on a Tuesday morning, and we always appreciate that. Chuck, good morning. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing well. Hope you guys are too.
Doing really good, man. We were talking about James McCann in the last segment. Did you see him get hit by a pitch in the nose yesterday and catch 9 innings? So we had people texting in saying that you can compare that to Curt Schilling, Willis Reed potentially, Ronnie Lott, Matt brought up. A couple of those people did it in World Series or NBA Finals. This was the first game of a doubleheader. I got to tell you what, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it, at least in baseball.
Yeah, he got drilled now. I mean, it was really scary. You didn't even thinking, or I wasn't even thinking about him staying in the game. You know, I saw it. It's like you just hope he's okay. And, yeah, it was really something else. I mean, that's something you don't see every day for sure.
Wow, you got to be proud of somebody like that to come out. I mean, anybody, but but the fact that he's a Razorback, that's just the way people are talking about him. I texted Dave today, and he said he's a dude, but we've known that for a long time. We've known that for a very long time.
I remember when he came. You know, he's put together a good big league career. I mean, he's never been a superstar, and really the last 2 or 3, 4 years, he's been a guy that catches one end of the doubleheader and might catch another game during the week. But for the most part, he's been a pinch hitter and just a great teammate. But he's put together a really solid major league career. And, yeah, he's a tough guy. He was a tough guy when he came here, and he still is, evidently.
So let's move over to things that are happening involving current Razorbacks, because we heard from Coach Cal yesterday, and man, it's just kind of fun watching him speak about the Razorbacks for 45 minutes and do his thing. It's familiar. It's just different colors and everything. And you hear from Sam Pittman and Ben Souders later today. So, you know, it almost makes you realize that our long, hot summer without Razorback athletics is nearing an end.
Well, it is. And for all intents and purposes, it's over, you know, because football practice starts tomorrow and everything's going to be geared toward that first football game in Little Rock. And, you know, when you get down to it, I mean, the college football season actually begins 3 weeks from Saturday. I mean, there are games on that Saturday that precedes Arkansas's game. So, yeah, it's here. Summer gets a little shorter every year, it seems like.
Chuck, what do you think the first couple weeks, really the first week of camp, they're trying to accomplish?
Well, I think they continue a lot of the things that they've been doing in the summer, and that's the thing about it now. You know, first off, getting in shape's not an issue because you've had them all year long, but you know, they've relaxed a lot of the rules in terms of how much time you can spend on the field and you know, what you can be coached on and what you can't be coached on. And I think, you know, part of it is picking up right where you left off in the spring. Now, you've got some new players since then, but for the most part, the guys that, you know, you knew you were going to play with this year went through the spring. And so I just think they're kind of getting back out on the field. My impression is that more and more, you know, to say it's a year-round sport really doesn't do it justice. I mean, it's year-round and then some, and I just kind of think football practice at least in the early part of practice, is a continuation of what you've been doing in the preceding months.
With the I guess with the portal and the overchange in the number of players that are going to be in Campton from last year, do you think that we lose? Is there too much time? Do they have to do too much install? I mean, how does that work when you're thinking they just keep learning a new playbook? It seems like each year.
I think most of that's done as far as this team goes, between the spring drills and what you are allowed to coach them on and the time that you're allowed to spend with them now. Those rules have really been relaxed in terms of, Matt, when you played, it was the quarterback, hey, let's all get together. And it wasn't quite that simple, but, you were basically belonged to the strength coach, and that was it. And it's different now in terms of what you can do. And I think that's helped with the install. And I don't think – now, look, I'm not saying it's, you're game ready this week. I'm not suggesting that. But I don't think there's going to be all that much installed in the fall that they've not already seen.
Meaning that, like, they've already ran a lot of these plays and these concepts and these fundamentals. You're not just throwing in something new that they haven't seen yet. Yeah, I like it.
No, I don't think it's that way. I don't think it's that way at Arkansas. I don't think it's that way anywhere now. With all the transfers out there, particularly with quarterbacks, they had to relax the rules some in terms of what you could do in the summer, how you could coach in the summer, how much time you could spend with them, how much actual instruction was going on. They had to do that. Otherwise, you're going to have a bunch of guys transferring in, and the first time they see the playbooks, first day of August. And that's just – you're going to look like a fire drill out there in your first game if you do that. So – I think a lot of that stuff for Arkansas and, again, for everybody else has been dealt with maybe a lot more than it used to be.
Well, that's why you want your early enrollees come in January, and that's why you want to get guys out of the portal.
Used to you'd have one or Phil. Used to you'd have like one or two guys, and they'd call it gray shirting. Would be there, and now it's like half the incoming guys are going to be there in January. Yeah.
Well, you think about if a transfer quarterback, if he's not in there in the spring, if he's not going through 8 or 9
then he's not starting this year, right? Yeah, you're just too far behind.
He's a non-factor. Or if you force yourself into starting him, you're going to have to simplify everything to the point that, you're not going to be as effective as you'd be if you had somebody back there that really knew the ins and outs of it. So, with the way the college game is now, these guys have got to come in and hit the ground running. But I think it is important to remember that they've essentially had, by the time they hit the practice field, they will have had 7 months with this new team. And we've not seen them play a game, but that doesn't mean they've not been involved in stuff every day.
You realize, too, now we're talking about this year's team, but just looking forward to, whoever it is that you're trying to get to report next January, they're under a whole new system of college sports. Like once you get to next August, and we still don't know how it's all going to work out, when you're recruiting for this next year's team out of the portal, now you're talking, sounds like 105 on the roster, 105 scholarships, payments to players, reporting your NIL money up to $600. It's kind of all right there in our face. And I know we're more excited about what's happening this season, these next few months, but just in the back of my head, I can't stop thinking that, well, it all changes. And really, for me, it all starts to change in December because that's when the football portal opens again.
Yeah, that's the free agency period. We go from bowl games to the hot stove league, and really the hot stove league starts inside the bowl games and before the playoffs over. So, yeah, all that stuff goes on. It's, you think about athletic directors, what they've got to manage now, all that's come into play. It's just really unfathomable what's happened. I can remember, Phil, you can remember this. We would talk in the booth toward the end of, I guess, 2 seasons ago, how there's going to be 40 new guys on the team next year, and people would just kind of scoff at that. Oh, there's no way there's going to be 40 new guys on the team. Well, there were. They're 39 this year, and it's that way everywhere. So, you better be able to hit the ground running, because if you don't have that 6 or 7 month install period before you start fall practice, you're way behind.
I mean, speaking of guys, new guys, there's 11 new guys on this basketball team, and Coach Cal talked about getting, at least getting 5 guys before you start, getting a schedule. What were your thoughts on that press conference that you saw with Coach Cal yesterday?
It's interesting, and I'll admit, and people who know me know this, I am a sucker for a good speech, and Cal's the best public speaker I've heard. Not just in sports, but period. He's as good as anybody out there. The way he can weave a tale, the way he's got these side stories, and still has the ability to always come back to his original thought. He's a mesmerizing speaker, and has an almost evangelistic quality to him when he speaks. I mean, you just are mesmerized by him, and I was when I listened to him yesterday. There were some things in there though that caught my attention. I think about when he was talking about the big guys, how they were going to play. He was talking about Brazil, and he's talking about Big Z, about how you're not going to stand out there and shoot 3-pointers. This is not how we're going to do it. You're 6'11", you're 7'2". You're not going to stand out there and shoot threes. If you think that's what's getting you to the NBA, you're mistaken. And he talked about Adu and the way he runs the floor, how he wanted to tighten that up. Cal's very good. Coach Cal's very good at coaching talent. I think we've seen that. And in Adu, for example, you're talking about an all-conference player. And he's talking about ways he can get better. So I'm excited to see him play. I enjoy hearing him speak. There's a knack to coaching talent. You're not trying to motivate a kid the same way. You don't have to tell a kid nobody thinks you're good enough, because everybody's been telling him how good he is since he was in the 4th grade. And the way that he's been able to meld that together, and I hate to use the term break down, but the way he's been able to handle egos and make all these big egos come together, he's really good at that. And he's very good at giving a press conference too, and so I think people enjoyed it yesterday.
Chuck's with us for another segment. We can open up the phone lines if you want to get on, have a conversation, take your text as well. 877-377-6963. Stay with us. Halftime back right after this.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text KING to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text KING to 42424. That's KING to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
You're listening to Halftime live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
ESPN 95.3 is live on location.
Hey, Ty Richardson live at Hardee's at the Phoenix Avenue location in Fort Smith. They got the best breakfast in town, and they got good old burgers, which is what we're talking about right now. It's the annual football trip of a lifetime that we've got coming up. August the 24th is the contest. You got to be here at this Phoenix location. The high schoolers are going to get involved, and then, of course, we've got the big dogs going right after. Do you want to be a part of that select group, that select core this year? Again, we're nearly 2 decades into this, the 19th annual, and you got a chance to win tickets to the Dallas Cowboy and Philadelphia Eagles game later on this season in Gerald. Swing on by, see if you can eat a Monster Burger, 150 seconds or less. Then you're qualified for that annual contest coming up August the 24th. Again, we're live at Hardee's till 1 o'clock, the Phoenix Avenue location in Fort Smith.
Summer camp, vacation, travel baseball, repeat. Family reunion, lake time, I'm beat. A parent in the summertime is a glorified chauffeur, but if you find yourself in a fender bender, you'll need a good lawyer. I'm Jackie Mock. With 12 years of experience in insurance and car wreck cases, I can help get you back on the road for more summer fun. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Now we will share a lifetime of the fondest memories.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Wits Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, soon Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street at Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Wits Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Man, I wish I knew you were here. We hear that every day at In Stock Parts, located off Highway 45 across from the cold storage in Fort Smith. Are you a maintenance technician, landscaper, farmer, or do-it-yourselfer in need of bearings, belts, or roller chain? Or safety supplies like gloves, safety glasses, or earplugs? Maybe you need drill bits, tap and die sets, lubricants, or even a gas-powered pump or generator. Don't waste your time driving around. Stop by In Stock Parts, your industrial parts resource, or check them out online at InStockParts.com. In Stock Parts.
When you need tough and paint just isn't enough, check out River City Coatings in Van Buren. When it comes to your metals, paint can peel and crack over time. Whether it's your patio furniture, rims or trims on your automobile, or heavy equipment, no one has time for a redo. Powder coating provides the toughness you need. Preserve your investment with powder coating from River City Coatings. River City Coatings, certified John Deere, Caterpillar, ISO 9001, Packer, and UL provider of tough. River City Coatings, 471-7675 or online at rivercitycoatings.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Diamond line, you're the we move in space with minimum wage, maximum joy. City life, business time. When you require street car design for higher height. Place for beginners, no sensitive heart. Sentiment left to try. Place to be ending, but somewhere to start. No need to ask, he's a smooth operator. Smooth operator.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Got the voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, with us for another segment. We can take calls. We can get your texts. It's 877-377-6963. Chuck, with camp starting tomorrow, see if you can give me one thing about football that you are sure of and one thing that you're not so sure of.
Oh, gosh. Well, I feel pretty sure Arkansas is going to move the football on offense. I feel like they're going to score points. I would say the one thing that I would like to be a little more certain of is, how they are in situations, how they are third down defensively, whether or not they're able to get off the field. I think when you look at, the close games the last few years, the year that Arkansas went to Tampa, they won all those games. And the years that they didn't, last year and the year before, they tended to lose all those games. So to me, that's the that's going to be the story of a lot of teams in the league this year, and I would say Arkansas would be certainly among them.
What is it that makes you feel confident that they're going to move the ball? Now, look, there's like to degree of what? A lot of offenses probably would be better than what we saw for most of last season. But I have a sense that they won't just be improved. I think it'll be notably improved statistically. You won't be dead last in the nation. You'll be near the middle of the pack in some cases. What is it about the offense that makes you think that they're going to be much better?
Well, the thing that I'm encouraged by and that I think is going to happen is the offensive line is going to be better. I'm encouraged by those 2 tackles, and I hate to, it's not real glamorous to sit here and talk about 2 tackles. I know that. But if you go back to last year's season, I just thought the breakdowns up front were really that's what led to all the problems, really, period. And you've got to be able to control the tempo of the game with your guys up front. And I think they're going to be better in that area. I'll also say this. I was around and had a front row seat for the time that Bobby Petrino was calling plays here. And, it was pretty good. A lot of points on the board. There's obviously not Ryan Mallett and Tyler Wilson, but, there is Taylon Green. And we're going to find out what he's made of in a hurry. And to say that he's the key to the fortunes on offense, I think maybe a little bit of an overstatement. But, the one thing that I do know from watching Coach Petrino's teams over the years is, you got to have a stud there. And, he's got to be really good. So, but I think the biggest thing on offense, if I wanted to say what gives me hope there, look, any of us that say on the 30th of July that I think this is going to happen, no, what you're saying is I hope this is going to happen, or I suspect it might happen, or I fear this might happen. There's not really anything, honestly, that I think's going to happen. But I hope, and I feel like up front they're going to have a better chance to control the game than they did last year.
Chuck, you said something there. I think you're spot on. It's going to be third down efficiency on offense. How are we on third down, and then the same thing on defense as well, and then it's going to go to the red zone. That's where our uptick has to be. I do think our numbers are going to be better, but when it comes to third down, can we be over 50% in the games that matters? When we get the ball in the red zone, are we going to be able to get touchdowns instead of settling for field goals? And then the same thing on defense. You got to hold them to 3. When it's third down, you got to get off the field. And as far as returning players, Chuck, I'm excited to see Andrew Armstrong. I really am. To see in this system. Last year it was just a mess. I think he's gonna. I could see him almost doubling his numbers from last year.
Could. I think he's one of those guys that's going to benefit from this. And I think Haz is going to benefit. And I'll tell you, a guy that I think is going to end up catching a lot of passes is a guy named Barquise Gums, and we're not talking about him very much, but he caught a lot of balls at North Texas, and I can't help but think he's going to get a lot more thrown to him this coming season. But Armstrong, among a lot of the ones you think of as being the game-breaking type players, he's certainly one that could benefit. I think Broden will too. I want to see how they use Broden in the red zone. He's a big 6'7" guy. I want to see how they use him there. But yes, I think Armstrong's going to benefit a lot.
And talking about like an inside receiver, and I know Phil and I have talked about moving Tesla inside, but he's a big body. Do we have that like jitterbug? Do we have that inside slot receiver that's somebody that can be real quick and win inside a phone booth, so to speak, when those 3 yards match up? Who's our slot receiver?
I'm not sure where they're going to end up putting Satania every time, but I think Satania's got to be in that conversation. When I think about some of the old Bobby Petrino offenses, I think about those drag routes, over the middle, and the short ones that, you catch it 5 yards from the line of scrimmage and it turns into a 30-yard gain. I could see him doing some of that.
Do you see on the camp schedule, and this is different than usual. It caught Mike Irwin's attention when I mentioned it to him yesterday. You can hear from the coordinators twice during camp. You'll hear from Bobby Petrino, I think it's in a couple of Tuesdays, then Travis Williams the day after, and the same next week or the week after that, and usually just hear from them once. They've said that they're kind of relaxing some of the rules that they were following during spring for the media being able to view practice. I don't know if that's the case right now for fall camp, but I mean, everybody wants to talk about Bobby Petrino, so that means you want to talk to Bobby Petrino as well, and you're going to get to talk to him more than they did with Dan Enos or any of the other offensive coordinators over the last few years.
Well, I think that's, it's certainly good. People are going to be able to hear him speak more. I know when, for example, Petrino was a head coach, the coordinators were part of the weekly press conference. Petrino would come out, and then the coordinators would come out. And I know, for example, in the pregame show, we always had the coordinators on. So I don't know if that has anything to do with the way they're doing it now or not. I don't know. Obviously, Petrino's he's not unfamiliar with dealing with the media. Travis Williams hasn't had as many opportunities, obviously, because he's not been a head coach. But I think that this is just my personal opinion, just observation over the years. Some coaches handle all of the media stuff, and they do it because they don't want to burden their coordinators with it. They don't want to make them do it, so to speak. They handle everything. Other coaches throw their coordinators out there at every opportunity. I've seen it work both ways. I've just never felt like when a head coach is the only spokesperson for the team, the only person that fans ever hear speak, I think in some ways that's good, some ways maybe not so good. But this is what they've decided to do, and I know people are going to enjoy hearing from them.
As far as defensively, I just haven't had my eyes on them enough. Who are going to be the linebackers outside of Xavier Sori, who coming out of Georgia?
It's going to be Spence. I think Spence is going to see. I don't think right now I know people talk about depth there, but you can play with 2 or 3 linebackers. I mean, I think anyway. But I think those are going to be your two primary guys there.
2021, it was pretty much 3 linebackers.
Yeah, I think
right?
you need a group of 4, but you got to know who the 1 or 2 alphas are for sure, no question. But you got to have a couple other guys.
Yeah, I think those are probably your alphas there.
Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I was going to ask him, with the Olympics going on, have you got into any of the Olympics? Have you been watching anything going on with the Olympics?
Some of this stuff's good. I've watched a little bit of the basketball. I enjoy the track and field, and so when that kicks in, I'll probably pay more attention. I enjoy the Olympics. It's not as though I sit down and say, "Man, I'm gonna, I got to watch this."
You don't have your
competition
popcorn
tonight.
ready, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'll sit down and I'm going to watch the Olympics. Whatever's on right now, I'm going to watch it for a little while. But I'll watch it more intently when the track starts.
I know that's what Matt's probably. I know that's what he's looking. It's basketball and track are the 2 that you're looking.
Noah Lyle. I like watching some Katie Ledecky. I like watching the swimming stuff because it's so intense. They're talking about how the pool depth has made everybody come back to normal. It's like if you're playing a team with speed, you water down the field, so it kind of slows them down a little bit. So they're doing that same thing, and it's photo finished every time for these.
Well, I've read about. I've been reading about that. I won't. I won't try to fake my way through it and claim I watch swimming a lot or keep up with it. But from what I read, there is it's a new generation of talent is what they're calling it. And it's all kind of converged on these Olympic Games. And so, yeah, all the competition's been fierce. I mean, and as you say, I mean, it's like watching a good horse race. I mean, it is a photo finish every time.
When I and I think we're always drawn back to our childhoods. When I think of Olympics, I still think of Mary Lou Retton, Florence Griffith Joyner, Carl Lewis.
See, I'm a generation after you. I got Michael Johnson in those gold shoes, looking up at the scoreboard at the time while he's running the curve and knowing he's going to win.
Who's ingrained in your mind from your youth, Chuck?
Oh, if I went way back, Mark Spitz. Mark Spitz was a huge American sports star when he won all those medals in Olympic swimming.
It's wild because we didn't even bring this up before, Matt. Wasn't Michael Phelps just
23 gold medals?
but he was named ESPN's number one athlete of this century, correct?
Oh, was he number one?
I think he was number one. But Spitz was in the 20s for last century, and I almost wonder about, because Phelps broke all of his records.
Spitz was a sports phenomenon. I mean, he was when that was going on. This was the early 70s. You know, there'd been the Olympic, you know, the tragedy in 72, and you know, Spitz was a guy that he just kind of captured the imagination, and you know, he was on the cover. You know, he was on the Wheaties box back when that was a big deal, and yeah, he kind of took the nation by storm there for a little while. And I mean, it seems crazy to say now, particularly to someone who's 20, 25 years old, but there was a time when Bruce Jenner was the best athlete in the world. And I remember that too.
Don't eat your Wheaties. No question about it. The Dan and Dave marketing app that they were doing that. If you remember that in the 90s, then one of them didn't even qualify for the decathlon. I remember that.
Dan O'Brien, he didn't even qualify.
Yeah. And then came back and won the third place the next time.
Yeah, I remember that. I'd forgotten about that. But I go back, you know, to the boxer from Cuba, Talifeo Stevenson, and I may have mispronounced the first name. I mean, that's going into the waybacks. But boxing used to be a lot bigger in the Olympics than it is now.
Chuck, we'll leave it there. Appreciate
All right,
you hopping
guys,
on.
enjoyed
Thank you
it.
very much.
Thanks, Chuck.
Okay, thanks.
We got a text in from Greg and Fort Smith, and I guess this would have happened around the time that I was talking about. Greg Louganis busting his head on the diving board. Came back and still won a gold too. That's in James McCann territory as well, Matt.
There was a guy in the first day that did that. He was trying to do a triple backflip and got a 0 for his dive. Yeah.
Yeah, you and I could have done the same thing. Plus, our listeners can give us calls or text us right now at 877-377-6963. And remember, today at Joe's Grilling Cantina is Taco Tuesday. It's the day that's stuck in the back of our minds because crispy tacos are just $1 all day long. $2.95 for pork carnita tacos, $3.95 for the pork belly or brisket tacos. That's at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Tomorrow's Nacho Average Wednesday. If you can't get over today, tomorrow you get $1 off all nachos and $1 off all beers. That's Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th across from Harps and Fort Smith, joesfortsmith.com. Back to wrap up our first hour in just a moment.
Oh, come on, guys. It's so simple. Maybe you need a refresher course. It's all ball bearings nowadays.
This is halftime. ESPN 95.3 is live on location.
Hey, Ty Richardson checking back in. We are at Hardee's at the Phoenix Avenue location in Fort Smith. Monster Burger. We all know about it, right? It's one of the premier items at Hardee's. And you got a chance to, absolutely free today. Eat it 150 seconds or less. You are qualified for that annual football trip of a lifetime, which features this year in 2024, the Dallas Cowboys hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. It will be a titanic matchup. Giant NFC East game. Potentially big seeding implications in the NFC overall. So you've got that to look forward to. How do you qualify? How do you win? You eat a Monster Burger 150 seconds or less today from 11 to 1, and then you are locked in for the contest on August the 24th. Come by and see me, Hardee's, Phoenix Avenue, location till 1.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Summertime in Arkansas means pond and creek fishing, and nothing catches bass and bluegill in a pond like a Rebel Crickhopper. You can twitch it, pop it, walk it, and swim it. It's the ultralight fishing lure that looks and acts like a real grasshopper. The Crickhopper works great in tandem with light spinning rods and reels with 4 or 6 pound fishing line. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. The Rebel Crickhopper.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drugstore has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drugstore can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Has your job been grinding your gears lately? Then let me tell you about Lavorne Lumber. They're looking to fill a regional over-the-road position. They use brand new equipment in your home every weekend. Don't think you're getting paid enough? That's not the case at Lavorne Lumber. They're highly competitive in that area. So if this sounds like a great next job opportunity for you, then stop by and see Pam and the Bills Monday through Friday from 9 to 4 at Lavorne Lumber. 515 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith and online at Lavorne, Lovvorn lumber.com.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Crazy about it,
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Watching the John Calipari press conference yesterday, and this one, you know how Chuck said he's just really a lot of fun to watch? A coach that goes up to a microphone a lot of times is just sort of waiting for questions to take the conversation where it is that the conversation's going to go. The Cal shows up, he says what he wants. He pretty much said it.
I just talk about what I want. Have you guys not understood that yet? You can ask me whatever you want. I'm going to say what.
I saw him do that with Bob Holt yesterday. Bob actually said to him, yeah, but you didn't mention about the roster. He had asked him a question, I think, about either roster building or the schedule, and then about the current roster, and he just sort of answered a question I think that Cal had in his mind and didn't answer anything about the roster. So, but that's part of it too. And I also thought I saw a little bit in Cal's eyes recognition of Bob Holt with the voice, because the two of them have been going back and forth for years. And of course, we have the famous soundbite that we'll play when Bob comes on Thursday of, why do you always talk about Arkansas? Yeah, there's one reason to watch that too. I'm pretty sure he knew he was talking to. But he also goes up there knowing, you know, what he's going to say. You might ask a question. You're not necessarily going to get an answer to that question. That's kind of coach speak, Matt, but I think it's also just Cal speak.
Yeah, he's pretty suave, man. He knows what he's doing. He's been around. He's seen it all. You know, he keeps getting he recruits a different player than Coach Musselman does. You know, Coach Musselman did great things here, and he's still going to continue to do great things. And it's not out of the realm that Coach Musselman couldn't win a national title. It's hard to do that, but they go after a little bit of a different player. I mean, Coach Cal's going after the upper crust. You know, when you talk about Arkansas kids, if they have to be able to compete, they have to be able to play, they have to be able to contribute. If you're going to go up there, you can't just be very good and think you're going to go up on the hill if Coach Cal's up there.
Yeah, my sense is that he'll recruit a kid from Arkansas the same as he would have recruited that kid if he was coaching anywhere else.
Exactly.
877-377-6963. To get with us as we touch into hour number 2, we'll talk with Dudley Dawson in about 20 minutes. Halftime, we'll be right back.
This summer at Hardee's, the BLT gets an upgrade with the new Frisco BLT Angus Burger and Frisco BLT hand-breaded chicken sandwich. The classic flavors of bacon, lettuce, and tomato, atop a famous charbroiled burger or signature hand-breaded chicken sandwich, all between 2 thick slices of toasted sourdough. Only for a limited time at Hardee's. Goodness in the making. Order ahead on the Hardee's app. Participation may vary. Exclusions apply by time of day.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Are you tired of the overcrowded fitness centers? Would you like a fitness option where you can actually work out? Then let's hang out. The Hangout is Fort Smith's newest fitness facility. It has an 8,000 square foot gym, indoor tennis, pickleball, and basketball with more sports coming soon. The Hangout offers group and individual training in the gym and boasts 3 active tennis pros to help you grow your game. Stop in today at 5400 Gary Street or thehangoutfs.com for more information. Be a part of something different. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
It's Wrangler season out there. T-shirt days, denim jacket nights. A pair of broken-in jeans you could live in. Open roads, endless horizons, no destinations. This is when adventure starts calling. And you need to be ready in jeans that are made for the unpredictable journey that we call life. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 4th Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, plenty of sunshine. Our high this afternoon in the mid to upper 90s, a heat index in some spots, 107 to 110. Mainly clear mid 70s overnight, and then sunny skies mid to upper 90s on Wednesday. Thursday, another sunny day with our high upper 90s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grain Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 30 days.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you. If I'm all right. What can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field. Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My heart, dog. Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
Even one Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
One minute after 12 o'clock. It is afternoon. Welcome back on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Elson, Matt Jones, Kristen Johnston with you here. And we'll get into some football, basketball, maybe a little bit of baseball with Dudley Dawson from Hogville in about 15 minutes. It's usually when we speak with Alyssa Orange. She is in France, and it's got to be covering something right now. So I get a little envy when I'm seeing Alyssa's tweets and videos coming from Paris, Matt, because, hey, it was, back in January when she got the assignment. We've been talking to her about the excitement of it leading into it, and feel a little bit, not left out, but it's like, well, it'd be nice to have her on from out there, but, she's got a job, an extra job that she's got to worry about while out there. So, and it's still like another, 2 weeks until she even comes back home. So hope she's having fun. I know she is. We missed her here today, but we'll have a great segment with Dudley Dawson.
We got USA right now is against Guinea, and they're an African squad. 0-0 in soccer. Sorry, soccer is what they got going on. They USA lost their first one pretty good. If they win this one, they're through to the knockout stage. So they're in good shape.
Seems that you and I have talked a little bit about the importance level of the Olympic soccer tournament compared to the importance level of the other international events, certainly the ones that just concluded a few weeks ago. It looks to me like women's soccer is a little more important in the Olympics than men's soccer is.
Do they even do the same rules? Because men's soccer, it's 23 and under. Like, you can't be, and then you get 3 overs. And I've been wanting basketball to do that, where if you set a number at 25 or if you set a number at 30, whatever your number is, and then you get 3 overs. But yeah, Phil, I'll be honest with you. I couldn't tell you. Rose Lavelle is my favorite. She's my favorite women's soccer player. Like, if I was to buy a jersey, it would be Rose Lavelle. She's a midfielder. She's absolutely the best women's soccer player, I think, on the team. Not even close. But that's it. I couldn't tell you much about the women's soccer.
As far as on women's basketball, did you see domination of Japan yesterday, 102-76? No one any taller than 6'1" on Japan, so going to be a little bit difficult. And I'm even surprised that Team USA even took 23-point shots with that kind of a size advantage. You see, they have now won 56 consecutive Olympic matches. Goes all the way back to 1992. 56. It's the same length as DiMaggio's hitting streak.
That's Lawrence Taylor.
And Lawrence Taylor as well. Here's some numbers if you want to get on. 877-377-6963. Here's Charlie with us. Right on time. Charlie, good afternoon. How are you?
I am great, Phil. The tuna always tries to be on time. He don't always succeed. As we talk about, the tuna always goes back and he scouts himself. He scouts himself in every way. So, I was thinking about something yesterday. Have you guys heard the entire Calipari presser from yesterday?
Yep, watched the whole thing.
Which, by the way, I didn't even realize I was 26 minutes in until I looked down at my phone and go, wow. Because the thing about Cal is, as we know, but it's just crazier now because he's with us and you see it more. This guy is hilarious. He's interviewing everyone. He is running the interview because that's Cal, right? And I was thinking by the time we got to 26 minutes, I don't even know if 3 or 4 questions had been asked yet because he's done answered about 75. But that's the greatness of Cal. And I was thinking about some of the things he said, and Matt, I don't know if you heard this part, but he talked about being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I was thinking about that in general, and I think we all struggle with that sometimes, right? Because when you're in an uncomfortable situation and it takes you out of your norm, sometimes you revert to your bad habits or whatever those are. But the thing about Cal that I think he does an amazing job of that's his strength, right? I think he has been able to evolve, right, Phil, with the game. Not only the game itself, but just with how the kids are now compared to what was he at UMass in the mid-'90s, right? So how it was then compared to how it is now is totally different in my opinion. It's like you take a kid now, it's so many different things, right?
Think about all the kids that he was talking about yesterday on the team whose dads he coached. There's two of them, right? It was a whole different situation when he was coaching their fathers. Completely different situation. And even right now, he's had to change the way he puts a team together. And he's talked openly about the need to do that.
But I think, too, Phil, when you get a coach's son on your team, I think they handle themselves a little bit differently. And if you got a couple coaches' son that they were raised a little bit differently as far as you're getting a good locker room guy, you're getting a guy that knows how to work, you're getting a guy that can watch film. I mean, there's a lot of good things that go with that.
Oh, yeah. And I remember when I was listening to it, guys, I got lost. I didn't even know we were 26 minutes in, and the guy can just tell stories, and he controls the room. And
it was like he was recruiting you as a fan, Charlie. He just doesn't need to because you're locked in. You've been hook, line, and sinker for decades.
Absolutely. I may not be where Eddie is, but are screaming to the top of my lungs just yet. But one of the things I realized I had in common before I go with Coach Cal, one of the things I realized is the Tuna is a people's person. And I struggle with this sometimes because I need some advice from you guys, because I feel like sometimes I'm too nice to a certain extent. Like I have this naturally funny, I'm just cool, laid back. But to be a leader, right, you got to be cool with sometimes not being liked. And Cal, you know what? He can do whatever he wants because he's Cal. But when you're in my situation and you aspire to be a coach, I wonder, Matt, for young coaches, is it different now than it was back then? Because now I feel like as a young coach, you got to focus more on the X's and O's before you get to the other stuff, because these kids don't know who you are. Anyways, I just wonder what you guys thought about that. Y'all have a good one.
I appreciate you very much, Tuna. Thank you. Ryan wants Charlie to start a podcast called Third Person. First guest, Ricky Henderson. Some self-scouting there by Charlie, too, today.
The only reason I wouldn't date him is because he's too good looking.
Well, he's too cool.
Yeah.
He's too cool and calm and collected. But I understand what he's getting at, too, to be a leader. You gotta be okay to step into somebody's face and tell them they got to change a little bit of the way that they're going about it.
I don't know. I've never raised kids, but they're all the players aren't going to like you all the time. But as you get older, as you mature, as you go through the process, you understand what the coach is doing, what your parents are doing. That it's out of love. They're on your side. They're doing things for you, and it's. So I think there is some of that. But no, you're not going to be liked by everybody. I bet you there's more than a handful of people that don't like Coach Cal, and we have the Nick Saban. I really think if you were to say who's the best coach, who was the top football coach in college football the last 20 years, it's Nick Saban. You can say a couple other guys if you want to with them, but we got that in basketball. We're lucky enough that we have the best coach. If you're doing a Mount Rushmore of current college basketball coaches, Coach Cal's on the list. So there's a little jealousy. There's a little animosity. It's like, how come that he went to Arkansas and not our school? So I think there'll be some of that goes along with it.
Yeah, you don't think automatically you'd be liked if you're naturally funny? What if you're cool and very laid back?
My natural is I live in the natural state, and then that's about as natural as I came.
Quick break on halftime. We're talking with Dudley Dawson, who is a natural at what he does for a living, here on halftime in just a moment. Stay with us.
This is halftime.
This is the Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast presented by Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company.
Don't expect this to be overnight. Don't expect that this thing's going to be solidified. But I guarantee you don't do what these guys have done over the years without having plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, and all four of them are going to be really good plans.
Subscribe to the Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, and share.
ESPN 95.3 is live on location.
Folks, we had a lot happen in the first hour of the Hardee's qualifier, which I'm here at the Phoenix Avenue location. We're qualifying for the 19th annual football trip of a lifetime. Keith in Greenwood, he's in the contest August the 24th. Keith's wife's big Philadelphia Eagles fan, so he's trying to make her dreams come true. Bring her down to Dallas, Texas. All expenses paid. Thanks to Tommy, I guess, and ESPN Arkansas. Then we had a good effort from Sean. Sean from Van Buren gave it a whack. Wasn't able to fully get to the end of that monster burger. And then we got a couple brothers that stopped by as well that are going to do it this next week. So, again, a lot happening in hour one. I think a lot's going to happen at hour number two. We're at Hardee's till 1 o'clock, the Phoenix Avenue location. It is another qualifier for the 19th annual football trip of a lifetime. Come see us.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit gopaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
What's new at Wheeler Power Sports? Short answer, a lot. All new Kawasaki Ninja 500, Z500, Eliminators, and Mule Pro Diesels. New Kawasaki Ridge side-by-side is now arriving. New Polaris Expeditions and Ranger XD 1500s. New Suzuki GSX 8R. New 2024 model Polaris Slingshots, including the Roush Edition, are now in stock. Check us out online at WheelerPowersports.com or stop by and see us at downtown Fort Smith at 901 North 11th Street. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967. Hey, Todd Richardson for Jim. They have several locations in the Arkansas area, but I specifically want to talk to you about Jim Mart number 10. Great deli. My goodness. Great lunch, great dinner. But have you had the breakfast yet? It's the best in town. And they have that convenient drive-through window. So when you're heading north or south on 540, take exit number 6 for Jim Mart number 10. 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith. Jim, the leading gas station and convenience store in the area.
Nothing says summer fun like fishing with a Thill Bobber with the family. America's favorite floats by Thill are available in a variety of sizes and colors. These premium balsa wood floats are made by the thousands at Pradco in Fort Smith, Arkansas. They are great at detecting the slightest bites by fish and work great in tandem with crickets and redworms. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. America's favorite floats by Thill.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
My friend, the low rider. The low rider is a little higher. Low rider drives a little slower. Low rider is a little colder.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Let's head right to our hotline. Always appreciate a chance to speak with Dudley Dawson from Hogville. And we'll talk to him right now for a little bit. Dudley, good afternoon. You got your eyes on any Olympics? There's lots going on right now. I got rugby, bronze medal rugby match while I'm hosting the show here today. It's kind of fun. You watching?
Yeah, I've got baseball and the Olympics on, and just trying to keep up with everything.
Baseball, not in the Olympics. I guess it will be the next time around. Hey, what'd you think of your Cardinals trade? They say they got Eric Fetty, Tommy Pham returning to St. Louis.
I like it. I'll see if I love it later on when they see what else they do. They need to get some bullpen help still, but obviously Tommy Pham is an energy guy. He's beloved in St. Louis. He's made it clear he wanted to come back. He went down to Jupiter, Florida, try to get them to sign him before spring training, and now he's back. I think that'll add some energy, but I'm not sure we can catch Milwaukee.
Well, it's not about catching Milwaukee. It's about getting into the tournament. That's what the regular season's about now. I don't even really think it's about setting yourself up for a bye or winning a division championship. It's just about getting in the tournament, being one of the 7 that's in, and you go from there. That's the biggest out of all the changes in baseball, and I guess I should say the timer and some of the other rules, make it change a lot more, but it's just a different mindset of what you got to do in order to win a World Series. You don't have to win a division. You don't have to overtake the.
Yeah, that's true. One of our last World Series was through the wild card. So we'll see. You know how much I love baseball, and I'm thrilled by today's trade deadline. Just seeing what happens with other teams as well as Cardinals. So it's been a fun week as the summer is about to come to a close.
Yeah, it's coming to. It really does kind of come to a close once the head coach of the college football team that's nearby starts talking, and that happens today. So I guess summer ends before August even starts. What do you think you hear from Sam Pittman today? Because you're going to hear from a lot. You're going to hear a lot of things you usually hear. What do you hope you hear today?
Well, I think it's going to be a continuation of what he had to say down at SEC Media Days. He'll be, he'll be as optimistic as he can. I think as we saw down at the meetings, he's realistic on, where his situation is. The one thing I would say is I don't expect a great year, but in this day and age, when you have so many people coming in via the transfer portal, whether it be at this place or another place, you could have some surprises. And I'm sure that there's a segment of the population that thinks Arkansas can't do anything wrong, a segment of the population that thinks they can't do anything right, and probably a lot of people, which I would put myself in the camp, is that's just kind of having a wait-and-see attitude, some pessimism going into it. But I think that second game with Oklahoma State at 11 a.m. Is just going to be huge in terms of both the narrative for both the head coach, the fans' joy or anger or disappointment, and then I think we'll know something pretty quick about how good this football team is.
Dudley, last year I don't think it was effort. I think it was lack of talent. Because when it comes down to it, it's one of two things. It's either lack of effort or lack of talent. And last year I just don't think we were talented enough. Is this football team more talented than last year's football team?
I think they are better rounded. I do think there's more talent. I think obviously I'll use half the word I want to use. Cluster was what last year was in terms of a lot of things with the offensive coordinator, the rift between the players involving NIL and the quarterback and offensive lineman and all that. I just think that was not a good run at all. And I do think when you lose, assistant head coach, associate head coach, whatever they call the guy that's second in charge these days, that really hurt Coach Pittman since Barry Odom left. I think that he's got, a deal with Coach Petrino now where he can bounce things off of him. And I think that's going to work well, for him. But as I was saying, last year was just a cluster from day one.
That's why it's like a lot of folks still go by what they saw last year. And I think on defensively, you can go a little bit on what you saw last year because there's a lot more returning players. On the offensive side, I mean, you're going to have a different leading running back. You'll have the same leading wide receiver, but you got a deeper group, a whole new offensive line, the way that they're lining up, experience at positions where you didn't have experience before. The quarterback's different. The coordinator's different. So I don't think you can point to anything that happened offensively with this team last year and say, well, they're going to be in the same situation. I expect a much more improved offense. It's part of that also goes against how much of the defense has improved that they're facing.
Yeah, and being the old guy that played 40 years ago under Bill Keady, when we were very balanced, we'd throw the ball once to the left, once to the right, and once in the middle, and run it 60 times with Billy Warren. I think that I'm still like my friend Clay Henry in that you win games in trenches. They did not play well in trenches at all with the offensive line last year. I'm, thinking that they feel better about the offensive line, and if you can get 3 yards when you have to, that's going to be a big deal for them in some of these games. And if you're looking for a positive, when they won 9 games, they were winning the 1-score games. When they finished 4-8 last year, they lost the 1-score games. Let's see how they do when they get down there in the red zone. Can you score, or do you have to settle for a field goal?
Is there a player top of mind, a newcomer that you're excited to see? I know the quarterback is kind of everybody wants to see the quarterback, but is there a running back? Is there a defensive guy that's a newcomer we got in this portal that you're excited to see?
Yeah, I think that running back room is really deep, and I think that in what I just said, Braylon Russell, who's 6'2", 251, 252, it's going to be hard to stop him down there on the guideline, and I think he gives them a punch down there that maybe they haven't had in a couple of years. So I'm looking forward to that. But if I can name Luke Haas as a new guy, even though he didn't play, a ton of games last year, I just think he's a phenomenal football player. Probably a guy you'd like to have back in the day, Matt, that, gets open and does something with the ball once he gets it.
He's got that Travis Kelce in him, Dudley. I think he's a guy, and I don't know that he's going to be a Hall of Famer. So let me slow down, but I do think he's a guy on his projection. He's a first or second round pick. I mean, he's going to be a top 100 pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah, I've been watching him since the 10th grade when his team over there was so good. He is a phenomenal player. He gets the game. A lot of times there's a lot of talent. And the IQ, the football IQ may not be as big as you wanted, but I think he's got both. And as a connoisseur of tight ends over the course of my life, there is something to be said for a guy that can run routes, get into a spot, know where he's supposed to be, and the quarterback's able to throw him the ball.
Tell me if Danico Slaughter is going to be somebody that makes an immediate impact. He's transferring in from Tennessee. Started at corner for them in a few games last year. 7 games he started as a junior in 2022. He's experienced. He's got some size for his position, and I expect that Slaughter comes in making an impact immediately. And I also like the secondary for this defense.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I looked at some weight and heights today, and that looks like an SEC secondary, and obviously they made some plays last year. I actually was on Tony Basillo's show in Knoxville this morning, and he asked me about Danico Slaughter. They loved him over there. They hated to see him go. They think he's going to be a star up here. Wish they still had him back. That tells you a lot. When somebody transfers and they wish that he was still there, then that's a decision he made, not they made. And they feel those guys over there this morning were just very high on him. And when you add him into the guys that you had last year, I think the secondary is going to be vastly improved, and they should be, because I think you've got more guys up front now that can help them out. Now the linebacker core went away. We're going to have to see how they play, with these new guys. But I feel like the defense has the right coaches, has the right players now. Again, you're playing in a league that you've got a big old mountain to climb, and you're starting down at the bottom. Maybe they can drop a Kanye West song on them later.
Oh, there we go. So Ben Souders is going to speak today. Is there anything that if you had a question for him or something you want to hear him say? He's the strength and conditioning coach, and I guess it'd be probably the only time he speaks. But what are you looking forward to hear him talk about?
Well, I looked over the roster and the weights that they have listed. I know that you can go into it a little bit more in depth in terms of how they lifted, what they lifted. I did not think that Arkansas was in the shape that it needed to be at the tail end of ball games last year. I think that's something that they really stressed this year. I look over the heights and weights, and I like what I see in that regard. But are they in better shape? And if they are, how did they get there doing things differently than they have in the past?
Well, it'd be nice if the offense can hold on to the ball for 3 minutes and get a couple first downs. I think that'll help our defense as well, as far as being in shape. But you're right on, Dudley. They I think of that BYU game. The fourth quarter we couldn't move the ball. There was no reason we should have lost that game.
Yeah, and that was one you felt good early on. What's going to be interesting, and Matt, you being a former quarterback, I'm interested to see. They certainly talk a good game about Taylon Green, and KJ Jefferson did a lot of good stuff here, but that whole thing, kind of didn't work out well last year, and I'm anxious to see with even though I think KJ was a great leader during his time here, I'm anxious to see a quarterback that the team is fully behind, how that plays into things.
He seems, from what I've seen, Taylon's a little bit quicker on everything, and that's what Petrino's going to try to do, where KJ, I don't want to say he was lethargic, but everything kind of slowed down a little bit when he got the ball, and he would still make plays, and he could do things like that. But I think your tempo and your pace, make a decision and let's go, let's fire it. I think those are some things you'll see that'll be different about this offense.
Yeah, some of my favorite quarterbacks around here have been 6'6" and fast, so
I'm all in. Let's go.
Hey, Dudley, I saw there's a couple of, I guess I can't say like player movement involving Arkansas baseball. The shortstop, Maximus Martin, Georgia State, he's not coming here anymore. He's going to K-State.
Right.
Adam Hatchman, who was supposed to be big-time left-handed pitcher but was injured when he came in, never got on the mound. This one kind of came out of right field where the bullpen is located for me. When I saw it yesterday, I didn't even know he was in the portal. He's transferring to Kentucky. It's just there's too many already established pitchers on the team, I guess, in his mind. Maybe he'll break through there. But this is also an example of being as aggressive as they were in the portal, and they got some guys through the draft, too, that maybe they didn't expect.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got to be thrilled with how they worked itself out. But even with the NIL money and obviously these full scholarships are going to help next year as they go down the line. But telling you what, when it's just like a major league salary cap type thing here now, and you knew that everybody wasn't going to be here. Charles Davalin is another guy that they got in Milwaukee that's going to be at Kentucky now, because when Kendall Diggs, made it clear that he was coming back, you only have so many spots on the roster. You only have so much money. You only have so much playing time, and I don't blame those kids at all. It is interesting to me that a lot of the people that have transferred out, I keep writing, did not appear in any games this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ty Wade, another one. That's right.
Yes, yeah.
Hey, Dudley, Phil had brought this up in the first segment, kind of how we started our show today. Did you see James McCann get popped in the nose and just keep on going? It was pretty badass. Is James McCann a guy that is he close to being a starting catcher somewhere?
Well, they would have to trade him, and I think from all indications last time I talked to him, he's very happy being Adley Rushman's backup there. He still gets plenty of playing time. They give Rushman some days off, and they also get him at first base. But yeah, that was phenomenal yesterday. When I first I was watching it live, and when it happened, I thought, oh my God! And then he pops back up, and then I loved it when he came to bat the next time. The crowd just reacted, in a fantastic way. And I know he didn't grow up here, but he was here, and we count him as an Arkansan, and that's toughness, and we like to see that.
Need to send that bloody jersey to the Hall of Fame.
There you go.
Honestly,
yeah.
It belongs
How
there.
about the tissue up the nose? Don't give me all this new technology. Just tissue up the nose.
Put it next to Luis Gonzalez's gum that was on eBay.
Hey, Dudley, we're up against it. We'll leave it there. Thanks for coming on today.
You bet. Anytime, man.
Thanks, Dudley.
It's Dudley Dawson from Hogville. We always appreciate a chance to talk with him. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, dealership that's been serving our listening audience for over 70 years. Making big adventure plans for your family for any other summer, other than right now probably, because the summer's nearly at the end. You can get over to Crabtree RV right now, and they've got a lot on site that fits exactly what you're thinking for. Plus, you can go online to crabtreerv.com and see what they've got going on right there. That's Crabtree RV, right beside the Cracker Barrel in Alma, crabtreerv.com. Meanwhile, we'll take your calls and texts as we continue here on our second hour, 877-377-6963. Halftime, we'll be back after this.
Connor, all I'll say is truck yeah. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is Halftime.
ESPN 95.3 is live on location.
Finn checking back in. We are at Hardee's at the Phoenix Avenue location in...
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and HitThatLine.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive into Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
Can I kick it? 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 Can I kick it?
Welcome back to Halftime with Bill Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Bill Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Men's soccer is kicking it right now, Matt, up 2-0 on Guinea. 2-0, got to say it properly. Still, as you will say when I text you with this every once in a while, there's still a lot of golf left in this soccer match.
You know, a lot of golf left. Golf actually gets started tomorrow. Xander Schauffele gonna go defend his gold medal. USA's the better team against Guinea, so that's pretty good. 2-0. They'll be in the knockout stage, and I don't know the last time the US have medaled. But they could make a Final Four. They could definitely make an Elite Eight. They can make the quarters. Could they make the semis? If luck's on their side, then maybe.
Didn't you tell me Guinea probably has the best player on the pitch?
It's the same colors of an African country, but Naby Keita, I want to say he's a Senegalese, but he's a midfielder and then Lacazette, who plays for France. He's a forward, kind of a false nine right now is what he does. But he's played for PSG. He's played for Arsenal. I mean, you start looking at the list, it'd be like somebody saying, yeah, I played for Alabama and I transferred to Clemson. And you're like, oh, so you're really good. Okay.
This is kind of fun, right? It's great to have these competitions going on at the same time that we're on the show, because it's very rare that we get a chance to watch sports occur live while we're doing a midday talk show right here. And I see Simone Biles on the balance beam in the third rotation of the women's team final. USA right now is second behind Japan, but I'm sure after her routine, they'll be a little bit ahead of Japan. 877-377-6963 if you want to get with us on halftime. Been a minute since we heard from Wade in Branch. Afternoon, Wade. Good to hear from you. How are you?
I'm doing real good right now. And first of all, I want to thank you and Matt and for the opportunity to talk to you again. And I've been out of sync, but I'm back, and I'm looking at the Major League Baseball things, and now I used to be an old school type of fan, and I did not like the expansion of the playoffs, but now I've changed my tune because I think it brings more excitement to the game right now. And look at your Pirates. Look at your Pirates, and I mean, they're not in it yet, but they're still.
It's all a matter of you're deciding whether or not seventh place is enough for you, but getting into the tournament is what it's all about. And they're not that far off from the Giants. San Francisco's been playing pretty well of late. Yet they've sold just a little bit. But who's to say that 10 games behind the Dodgers, Giants get in? Who's to say that they don't make some noise? All you got to be is in the top 7. You'll get in.
The Dodgers are not doing that great. I mean they're in first place, but they're beatable. And well, look at Arizona and Texas last year. Who would in that would have thought that they'd be in the World Series?
That's right. So I mean, really, when you look at the standings, I don't remember exactly the positions that those teams finished in last year, Wade. And it's great to hear from you, Wade. Thank you very much. You very well could be looking at, let's look at the 6th and 7th place teams right now overall in these leagues. You could have a Mets versus Red Sox World Series. 86 all over again, except those teams won their division, so it's a little bit different back then than it is now. You got, about 3 hours and 40 minutes left before the trade deadline? Ed Razorback on the move yesterday. Matt, Jalen Beeks went from the Rockies to the Pirates. It was to be filling in the bullpen there, and they gave up a big-time prospect for him, which kind of made me scratch my head a little bit because they still need a bat, and I'm imagining that there's some text messages and phone calls being fired off by Major League general managers right now.
We got 3.5 hours left? Or
about it's 5 o'clock.
Okay.
I think it's
4.5, yeah.
I think it's 5 o'clock Central Time is when the deadline ends. Do you see there was a guy, I forget what day it was over the weekend, Christopher Morel for the Cubs. He got traded mid-game and got to say goodbye to all of his teammates mid-game, and then walks up the stairs to the clubhouse, packs his stuff, and heads over to his next team. He got traded to the Rays. So I forget who this happened with before, but there's actually a story of, and I think this was probably before the visions were changed. A guy played for both teams in a doubleheader because he was traded between the doubleheader. So he just walked across the field from one clubhouse to another. That's got to feel a little bit weird. Very weird, in fact.
If you're a baseball fan, go watch Will Ferrell. He did this about 7 years ago, where he went and played every position in the Cactus League for different teams and played for different teams. And it's so funny, and the respect too, because you think a comedian coming in and he wasn't disrespecting the game, but it's worth a watch. It's a good watch. It's pretty funny.
I've never seen anybody play all 9 positions in a game. I've seen somebody play 9 positions in a season, just not ever in a game. But I mean, honestly, Will Ferrell, quote unquote, playing a position is going to be a little bit different than anybody else who's actually a ball player doing it. He's out there joking at 9 different positions. He's a little bigger than most ball players too, isn't he? He's a tall, goofy guy.
6'2". I think it's tall in the acting world. I think he might be a 6'1", 6'2" guy. But yeah, he was halfway an athlete, I think, when he was growing up. So you can't just go out there if you've never played before. But it's funny. It's definitely worth a watch.
Trading deadline. Yeah, I know they were bringing it up earlier on Greeny. Like, baseball is the sport where it feels like the trading deadline just has a little bit more influence than in a lot of the other sports. I mean, you've seen big deadline deals in the NBA that have paid dividends in the postseason. Football, it's just kind of rare. I know there's a trading deadline, but I don't know if there's been too many moves that necessarily have led to somebody making a big move or a big push or a Super Bowl champ. If there are, I can't think of it.
McCaffrey
this has been
was
a thing in baseball for a long, long time. Yeah, McCaffrey, that's true. That was a deadline deal, wasn't it?
That's the last one I can think of. But no, you're right, Phil. I think baseball has the most mystique or the biggest chance of actually hitting, the biggest chance of hitting on your win, because Kyrie Irving went to Dallas the year before, and then they did their thing. Drew Holiday was before the season started trade. You start looking at some of the trades. Basketball, if you can go get a 6-man, if you can go add somebody to your rotation, that's the trade you're looking for. But to go find a superstar, somebody that's going to come in and play 32 minutes, I couldn't tell you the last time that's worked in the NBA.
Well, so many deals in basketball are done involving draft choices now, and it's like you can't do that in Major League Baseball. So we're always worried that we're about to trade the next star, and that's where I'm scarred as a Pirates fan, because I remember after they traded, I don't forget some of the guys that they traded in this case. It was Tyler Glasnow, Shane Baz, a couple of other guys that they traded to the Rays that ended up having good careers or really good careers in one case, and then got Chris Archer, who was terrible, absolutely terrible for them. And even trades that work out, and this worked out for both teams. This one's really famous. Who was the pitcher for the Astros that was traded for the Braves? Andy Messersmith, I think. Was it Messersmith? I might be forgetting the name of the pitcher, but he was dealt for John Smoltz. He ended up going, I think it was 7 or 8-0 with the Tigers, and they ended up losing in the playoffs that year. And then John Smoltz goes on to a Hall of Fame career with the Braves. Never did pitch with the Tigers, even though that was his hometown team. Like with the Pirates, they traded for Zane Smith one year, and they traded Moises Alou for Zane Smith. And Alou ended up having a better career, but sometimes that's That's just how it goes. And so I'm scarred. I always expect, like, the Pirates will get zero return for somebody who's going to be knocking on the doors of the Hall of Fame at some point. 877-377-6963. Any trades that you remember around the deadline that really affected you? And, you know, I do have one that affected me to the point where I felt like I actually cried. They traded my favorite player, Tony Pena, to the Cardinals. I don't even know if that was a deadline deal, but it wasn't all far off from the trading deadline. I love Tony Pena. That's why I was a catcher. Learned about that trade at camp and ended up crying because I was 10, and that's what you do at the age of 10. They got back Andy Van Slyke, Mike LaValliere, and Mike Dunn, and Van Slyke turned into a hero for us too, so I wasn't crying too much after that. All right, we'll come back, wrap up hour number 2 of Halftime in just a moment.
They were so convincing in their argument, they swung me.
This is Halftime.
ESPN 95.3 is live on location.
Ty Richardson checking back in at Hardee's. We're at the Phoenix Avenue location here in Fort Smith. Folks, we're gearing up for the 19th annual football trip of a lifetime. You say, Ty, what is that? Most of you know, but for those that don't, I'll tell you real quick. It's the Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles. That's the trip this year. We've given away a bunch of other trips. How do you qualify for your chance to win? Well, you see me. You pound a Monster Burger in 150 seconds or less. Y'all, if I can do it, you can do it. That's like the bar for anything in life. If I can do it, you can do it. Most of you are much more manlier than I am. And there's a lot of females that honestly could beat me. Let's just be real about that. Come on by, eat it in 150 seconds or less. You're qualified for the 19th annual Football Trip of Lifetime contest on August the 24th. Getting there quick, so you better hurry. Come see us. Phoenix Avenue, Hardee's, location in Fort Smith.
It's summer clearance sale time at Jelco Outdoors. Save 25% off summer casual and fishing clothing by Ariat, Rig, Hook, Wrangler, and Under Armour. Old Town kayaks and canoes, marked to cost. Save hundreds of dollars on the Old Town while they last. Archers, get ready for early bow season. Don't miss the summer clearance sale at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drug Store has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drug Store can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Has your job been grinding your gears lately? Then let me tell you about Lavorne Lumber. They're looking to fill a regional over-the-road position. They use brand new equipment in your home every weekend. Don't think you're getting paid enough? That's not the case at Lavorne Lumber. They're highly competitive in that area. So if this sounds like a great next job opportunity for you, then stop by and see Pam and the Bills Monday through Friday from 9 to 4 at Lavorne Lumber. 515 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith and online at Lavorne, Lovvorn lumber.com.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
And what's your light? My only friend through teenage nights. And everything I had to know, I heard it on my radio. You gave them those old time stars through walls and words invaded by Mars. You made them laugh, you made them cry, you made us feel like we died.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Go right to our hotline here as we wrap up our second hour of halftime. Woods is with us here. Now, Woods, you know what? Over in my living room here, I've got a Stratomatic copy that's got, I haven't written your name on it yet, but I will when the show is complete. We're at, Top Golf and Rogers on Monday. Come and claim it, man.
Okay, on Monday? This coming Monday?
Absolutely.
I'll be there. I sent you a text, but you might not have gotten that with the last segment. But, hey, I heard something that you guys were talking about, which is you're talking about getting prospects back on trade deadline. And I was wondering what your thoughts were on when does Pittsburgh get rid of Paul Skeens?
Hopefully never. But it's
hey,
gonna be, he's got to be like quite honest about it. It's like in the next 6 years, there's going to be thoughts. Whether it all depends on what the rest of the, how the team is doing up to that point.
Do you hold on to him too long and then he gets hurt?
Well, they don't need to be worried about trading him anytime soon. That'll be near the end of whatever his
of the 6 years
next contract will be. Because really, if they're smart about this, you sign him to a long-term deal like after next year before arbitration hits and take away at least maybe the first 2 years of free agency if he's open to it. And hopefully by then, either he and Livy are not together any longer or Livy's okay with living in Pittsburgh because it sounds like she wants to be in SoCal.
Make it to year 6 because, I mean, he's not going to stay in Pittsburgh. Let's just be honest.
Of course he won't.
Let's set realistic expectations here. But and then that's where I also say, like, how many of these teams that are small market teams, like the Royals, when do they get rid of Witt Jr.? Like when do you start getting your value back for a superstar? Like, because that's what you were saying is like, when do you get your value back? Because these guys are going to be gone at some point, and do you want to have a team that is viable for years, or do you want to be just good for a small window?
Well, part of this also, Woods, and you know it, is that prospects are never a sure thing. They just never are. Now, we're also talking about two players here in Skeens and Witt who were first overall picks who apparently were sure things because they're as good as advertised, but that's rare. That's how it happens. I think if you're a small market team, you got to strike while the iron is hot. If your team is good, you get a chance to make the playoffs. You think you got a chance to go deep in the postseason, win a World Series. Even if it's the last year of that guy's contract, you got to hold on to him because you can't piss your fans off any more than they already are just for being small market fans to begin with.
Yeah, and that's where you make more of your money on the season tickets and the merchandise sales than you do necessarily before you get rid of the player before the 6 years, right?
Yeah.
If you can,
look, the These owners
they're
are making
stuck
money before
before-
they even open the ballpark. Just by owning the team, they're making money. I don't think any major league owners 30 years ago, yeah, I think some of them were losing money. None of them are losing money right now. Outside of maybe Cohen for the Mets, because he's spending, what, $280 million or something on payroll? I bet you the Mets make it. I bet you the Mets are the very worst, just breaking even. Woods, good to hear from you, man. Appreciate your phone call. And, Monday at Topgolf and Rogers, we got a live show. And I'll remember to bring that copy of Stratomatic with me. Maybe we can even break it out and we can have we do one game during. Well, it'll take longer than just a commercial break. Always good to hear from Woods. We're going into hour number 3 of halftime. 877-377-6963 is our number for calls and texts, and we'll be right back after this.
This summer at Hardee's, the BLT gets an upgrade with the new Frisco BLT Angus Burger and Frisco BLT hand-breaded chicken sandwich. The classic flavors of bacon, lettuce, and tomato, atop a famous charbroiled burger or signature hand-breaded chicken sandwich, all between 2 thick slices of toasted sourdough. Only for a limited time at Hardee's. Goodness in the making. Order ahead on the Hardee's app. Participation may vary. Exclusions apply by time of day.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. And you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westark Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westark Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drain, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Temps are heating up, and so are the ticket deals this summer with Vivid Seats. Whether it's scoring tickets for a night out at the ballpark or witnessing the rising stars of women's basketball, Vivid Seats has you covered. With a robust rewards program and wide selection of tickets, Vivid Seats makes it easy to score great deals on great seats with a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you the peace of mind for the ultimate fan experience. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Summer camp, vacation, travel baseball, repeat. Family reunion, lake time, I'm beat. A parent in the summertime is a glorified chauffeur, but if you find yourself in a fender bender, you'll need a good lawyer. I'm Jackie Mock. With 12 years of experience in insurance and car wreck cases, I can help get you back on the road for more summer fun. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Now we will share a lifetime of the fondest memories.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, plenty of sunshine. Our high this afternoon in the mid to upper 90s, a heat index in some spots, 107 to 110. Mainly clear, mid 70s overnight, and then sunny skies, mid to upper 90s on Wednesday. Thursday, another sunny day with our high upper 90s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grain Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 30 days.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it. If I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it. We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field. Yeah. Take it to the house.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
Even one Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Welcome back on halftime. We are into our third hour, 1 minute after 1 o'clock on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. I'm Phil Elson. My partner, Matt Jones. Christian Johnston is in the studios running things right now. 60 more minutes with you. We'll be talking with Bill King in about 15 minutes, the king of college football talk. And
yes, he is. Yes, he is, Phil. You were gone last week when I had Bill on. I said, hey, man, you into the Olympics at all next week? He said, absolutely not. We'll be talking college football and college. And I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's pretty much like what can you bring up with him? You can bring up college football. You can bring up anything involving college football with Bill. So I heard him say on his show the other day, you'll be watching about 5 or 6 games every Saturday, like he's been doing for centuries. And you can bring up some college basketball, some college baseball, and that's about it. Maybe some.
He's the best. Yeah. No,
you remember what he told us that he majored in or what he got his degree in? I think it was chemical engineering. I don't know. I don't think I can form a question for chemical engineering for him.
Yeah, see, exactly.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit difficult to pull something off like that. But yeah, we'll be, hey, Sam Pittman speaking in about an hour. Ben Souders after that.
I thought Dudley brought up a very valid, a very good point, Phil. And it's something that I hadn't thought about until he brought it back up. But I remember vividly last year, we were not very good in the fourth quarter of games. And then you talk about one-score games, right? Like losing all these one-score games. Well, that's what it comes down to, your endurance, your stamina, not making the wrong decision because you're tired, because you can still go. And that's the big part, being able to play, being able to finish the fourth quarter. And you got to do that the first 3 quarters, keeping yourself into the game, but you got to have enough to finish and get that W.
Well, it's the same strength coach as you had last year. I think this is the second season that Souders has been the strength coach.
Maybe he should learn too. You know, like they should all be learning. And what do we do different from this year to last year? Or what can we change to make sure this doesn't happen? That's the thing you don't want, is you don't want the same thing happen the year before continue to be your downfall. You got to fix that.
Well, that's some of the stuff that goes into losing close games. Absolutely. Special teams, third down, efficiency on both sides, which really has a lot to do with first and second down efficiency on both sides as well. Like that's a thing that's got to turn around about Arkansas football moving forward. Close games, in terms of the final score, you know, there was 1-5 last year in games decided by 7 points or less. Think about that. I mean, 5 losses. That's out of 12 games. That's out of 8 games that Arkansas lost. You know, I don't think it's a matter of if a couple things here happen differently, then maybe you win those games. That was what Arkansas football was last year. Just good enough to hang around against some good football teams, but just couldn't make enough plays. Weren't strong enough, or in one of those things you're talking about, fourth quarter, weren't quite. I'm not going to put it on the strength coach, but it's just that's just some of those things that all band together. It's like it's not that you're that close to being a good football team. It's here are all the reasons why you lose a game by 5 points rather than win a game by 3 points.
Oh, no question about it, man. That BYU game, we had linemen cramping up and linemen that couldn't finish the game, and then they're just bull rushing, just a one-on-one bull rush your linemen when it's a passing down. That was they were able to play prevent and do that. That's the second game of the year. You know who we played the second game of the year this year? They're a lot better than BYU. I'll tell you that. So we're going to have to be in shape early. You can't just play yourself into shape and then by the 4th, 5th game of the year be like, all right, we're finally in game shape. You're going to look up and you're not going to like your record after that. You better come to play.
Yeah, and really treated the same way the week before against UAPB. I'm assuming, I'm hoping by the time you get into the second half, you don't have your starters out there for very long, and so they might have only played a half of football for a little more than a week before you go and play one of your tougher road games of the year.
Perfect world. If it's a perfect world, you want them to do at least 1 to 2 possessions in the third quarter. So, because you want to come back out at half, you want to feel what it's like coming back out to start a second half. So you don't want to go hang them up after the first half. But so you want to come back out in the second half because that's what you're going to have to do. And give me one. If you give me an 8-play drive and we score a touchdown, all right, and we're all healthy, we're up by 4 touchdowns. Well, let's get ready for Stillwater.
Mason texted and he says he's really excited. It is that time of the year. We're going on the Kool-Aid once again, and he's feeling Eddie's energy. And he says motorcycles and good old cold beer teaming up. So we'll have to put that one on the bank and see how you feel. Like, well, you're going to get a lot of different reactions depending on what happens in that Oklahoma State game. Like, I think for the fan base, that's the most important game of the year right now. People will point to Texas, of course, but that's in November. And by then, you'll know the kind of season you've had. For the team, I don't know if I'd say Oklahoma State's the most important game, but for the fans, that's a game where a lot of people will decide whether or not they're going to buy in or whether they're going to watch, kind of like with one eye open and the other eye shopping on Amazon or doing something else and starting to count down until basketball season. So, it's different for everybody. I think for the team, what they've got to worry about, what's their most important game? As weird as it sounds, it's UAPB because it's the first one that's right there in front of them. That's why they've got their scrimmages on Thursday so that they're ready for Thursday night in Little Rock, which, by the way, I saw $30 tickets are available right now. We got to try to get as many people into the stadium as possible. But for the fans, yeah, I think it is Oklahoma State. And then after that, it's Auburn on the road. But it's, I usually wouldn't look at the second week of the season as the one where everybody's going to decide whether they buy in or not. But yeah, I have a sense that is the game where they think to themselves if they're going to be 100% all in and kind of diving in with both feet.
You got us, Phil. So I'm trying to think worst case, best case. Dream scenario obviously would be 5-0. But when we get our first home conference game, so there's 3 games that I would circle in these first 6 games. That's your first game, but Oklahoma State, your first conference opener, Auburn, your first conference home opener, Tennessee. So when we play Tennessee, are we going to be 2-3? Or are we going to be 3-2? Like Oklahoma State, Auburn, A&M. Those are the games that are iffy. We should beat UAB. We should beat UAPB. When we have our home opener, if we're 2-3, it's going to be a bummer. It's going to be a downer. If we can find a way to be 3-2, 4-1 going into October 5th when Tennessee's coming into town, I bet everybody will be believing.
I also would like not to feel about the UAPB game the way that I remember feeling about Portland State. I think that was Chad Morris's first game as the coach. I forget what the final score was, but I think it was like a 5 or 6 point win. You walked away from that thinking, oh, yeah, they won, and they were going to celebrate like they won. Heck, I think they even did Club Dub after that win. But you kind of had a sense of what was coming down the pike from that game alone. Beating UAPB, but you actually gotta beat them badly. You gotta make it obvious, like just by watching and not even wondering what the score is, knowing who won.
And that's the thing. I forget who we played the second week of the season last year, and we couldn't run the ball. The beating UAPB, you should only be running 10 to 12% of your offense. And same thing on defense. You should be able to go out there and let cream rise to the top. We should be better at every single position. We should have more talent. So all you got to do is go out there and fly around, have fun, read your keys, play fast. It's as simple as that. You'll have a couple jitters, but once you hit somebody, just go out there, play fast, play fun, and we're the most talented team on the field that day.
It was Kent State last year. That was the game you were.
We couldn't run the ball. It's like then you knew. That's kind of when you knew that. And I think, Phil, you're so on to something. I think everybody's going to be on high alert these first couple games. Like, oh, here we go again. We can't do our. Oh no, we've come around the bend. We've turned the page. We're a better football team. Physicality will be another thing too, and that's how you run the ball. If we can be more, if Oklahoma State's way more physical than us. Man, think about going through the SEC schedule when Oklahoma State's more physical than you.
Alex texted in. He says he is not going to get his hopes up unless Arkansas beats Oklahoma State. He thinks it's the most important game of the year. Will dictate how the season goes. Now, I mean, I'd love to see a win there, but I don't want to put it just on the idea of a win or a loss. As important as the win will be there, but I want to see that you belong in that game because that is a physical team. Like that Oklahoma State team, I'm not going to say they would win the SEC or anything like that, but I think they would compete in the SEC physically with the offensive line, with Ollie Gordon, the way that they run their offense. You want to look like you belong on the field. And man, there were some moments last year, at least on the offensive side, you could tell they did not belong on the same field. By the way, they're getting a lot of the, not a lot of them, but they got a couple of games early right now up on Bet-Sarazen. They got Arkansas against A&M and the game against LSU. Hogs right now are heavy underdogs in both of those games, 10.5 against the Aggies, 9.5 against LSU. And they don't have the odds up yet on the Oklahoma State game, but I'm assuming that'll come sometime over the next month. And you got Olympics you can put some money on. You got preseason NFL and college football, preseason props on the NBA, which isn't all that far from getting started. Major League Baseball games in full swing. It's all going on Bet-Sarazen right now. Works on your Apple iPhone. You can download from the App Store. For Google users, just go to Google Play and all the web browsers, BetSarazen.com, but make sure that you are within the state of Arkansas borders to use Bet-Sarazen. Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio stops by halftime right after this.
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
This is halftime.
I wanted to find someone who would embrace Arkansas and the opportunities to build on a rich tradition.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Colin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
This video is
Your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit GoPaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Do you want to see the Dallas Cowboys take on the Philadelphia Eagles at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas on November 10th? Can you eat a Monster Burger in 150 seconds to qualify for the football trip of a lifetime? It's the 19th annual football trip of a lifetime brought to you by Hardee's, ESPN Arkansas, and hitthatline.com. Go to hitthatline.com for more details and let's secure your seat at the table. Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Going round, people talking about the girls come to town. Lady, they ask can't be. No one knows her name, she's just a mystery. I have seen her. Maybe once or twice. One thing I can say, oh, she's very nice. She's a lady. What I really want to know. Somehow I've got to let my feelings show. She's so exciting to me. She's exciting to me. I've been thinking about the way you walk, baby. I like the way you talk. Tell you something I really can't hide.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Headed over our hotline, a chance to talk with Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio. He is the king of college football talk, and we are now less than a month, Bill, until the start of the college football season, because we do have a week 0. So I know it's not quite the playing portion of the season. It's also, I mean, it's still kind of the talking portion of the season, and pretty soon it's the practicing portion of the season.
We've got coming up on the 24th of August in Dublin, Ireland, a Florida State-Georgia Tech matchup. I'm not saying that's the most attractive thing that any of us have ever seen, but it'll get that ball up in the air, and Florida State's about a 13-point favorite. I was just looking at that. I just started looking at that stuff the other morning, and I think Georgia Tech may give them a fight.
How important is it for Florida State this year to, they're trying to get out of this league. They're trying to get out of the ACC. So is Clemson. Winning a championship for your league is one thing, but when you're trying to get out of that league almost to make a point that it's not good enough,
right.
And it's also you win your league, you go to the playoff 12, so these things will go together.
Also, their track out of that league feels as if it's slowed down significantly. They have until the 15th of August, which let's just call it 2 weeks, to notify the league that they're departing, or they're stuck contractually for 2 more years. Now, I'm not saying that some kind of court settlement or some kind of money settlement can't erase that, but right now it doesn't look like they're going anywhere soon.
Hey, Bill, I want to stay in Florida. 2 Florida schools opening up week 1, Florida and Miami, and it looks like that game's in Gainesville. Which one of these 2 teams? We all know Florida's schedule, that it's daunting. I mean, the gauntlet they got to go through is out of control. But which one of these 2 teams, Bill, is this game more important for, Miami or Florida, week 1?
Florida. Billy Napier is in much peril. And you just mentioned they have the toughest schedule in America. You lose that game to a very good roster now. And it's tough to see you circumnavigating 6 wins. I don't know that would help him survive anyways, but no, it's more important. Now, Mario Cristobal, it's important for him because they had a really good transfer portal. They got in Cam Ward, the quarterback that everybody loved, and other really good players, a big-time running back out of Oregon State. So they're starting quarterback or running back or transfers who are very accomplished. But the knock on Hurricane Mario is that he can't coach a lick during the game and doesn't know how to finish out a game. He's got to erase that from his resume. He's not going to get fired, but it's important for them to, just not as much as it is for Billy.
Is that the school that's been at the top of the list as far as on-field success not relating properly to the level of talent on the roster, Miami?
Yes and no. Since Larry Coker's demise 20 plus years ago, their talent level on some level has deteriorated, and they lost their attractiveness in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, which is South Florida. And if you can own that area, you can go fight anybody anytime on the football field. They lost that attractiveness, and they weren't keeping the hometown guys. Mario Cristobal is a really good recruiter. He's got them back to where they're getting their better share of those players. I don't think through the years it's been more talent. I think they've been poorly coached. I think the resounding theme through all these years and all these coaches is they've been poorly coached, other than Mark Richt.
Bill, I'm looking at this Texas A&M Notre Dame game as well at week 1. Is that a game that you see Notre Dame? Are they a team that's going to win 10 games this year? Does that weigh? Who's more important this week 1 non-conference game? Who needs to win more, Notre Dame or Texas A&M?
Well, there's no job security issue at all. Mike Elko, year 1. But I would say maybe Notre Dame, just because, and the spread's like a half point, and it fluctuates. But Notre Dame is probably not going to be an underdog in any game as of right now that they play during the regular season. They get Florida State later, they get Southern Cal, but they're going to be favored in every game. If they win that game, they ought to win more than 10. They may go 11-1, 12-0 if that happens. I'd say it's kind of an interesting stress test for Mike Elko, a guy I'm a big fan of. And it's game 1, Connor Wegman healthy at quarterback, all that talent there, even the ones that stayed. But I don't know if it's more important. It might be more important for the psyche of Notre Dame, maybe.
The another question I got is the other coach that was going to go, Kentucky's head ball coach that flirted a little bit with A&M and then it didn't go through. Is there, and then he's kind of come out in the news saying some things about not having the resources or not having the time. Is he kind of setting it up for his departure? I mean, he kind of flirted with it last year. Do you think he's a guy that could be on the move at the end of this year?
I just don't know where he's going. Now, he would have had that A&M job had it not been for the Tennessee type thing with Greg Schiano, where social media blew up, because Ross Bjork wanted him, and Ross is now at Ohio State. If they ended up running Ryan Day, which basically he's almost under the edict, win a national championship or else. Now, it's not quite that severe, but it's close. And he can't lose to Michigan. Would Ross Bjork turn back around and try and hire a guy from Youngstown, Ohio, Mark Stoops up there at Ohio State? Unclear, because a lot would have to happen there. He's also an Iowa former player, an Iowa grab. If Kirk Ferentz, who's been at Iowa since 1999, retired, which there's no indication there, would they go after him? Probably would, but I don't think he has anywhere to go. And you're right, he publicly called out his collective, their money raising, their resources, and said, you guys are killing me. I am committing hours to begging for money when I need to be coaching. I need to be working on the team. And that was pretty blatant right there.
Yeah, that was the thing that really stood out about it. It's, coaches will complain about NIL and some of the things that they have to do in order to help raise that money, but I've never heard anybody say, I'm doing this alone. 3/4 of my time is dedicated to this. I mean, that's just that was stunning to hear. Usually they'll pay dividends to somebody else to help them along with anything. He was just I do this absolutely by myself, and that blew me away.
And he said, I don't know how much longer I can do this. That's pretty significant.
Okay, so how about the idea of more coaches getting out of college football because of what's coming down the pike? And now it's right there in front of us, Bill. I mean, when the portal opens in December, you're talking about recruiting to the new model of college football. 105 players on the roster probably means 105 scholarships, payments to players, reporting your NIL, a lot of other things that I'm still not sure about because this hasn't even been an accepted settlement in this House lawsuit. But it's right there, and this is the last year of college football in its current iteration. It only lasted 2 or 3 years, and it totally changes. Really, for me, it's not next August; it's when the portal opens.
We go to 105 in the calendar year 25-26, so literally this time next year. 105 means more players to be unhappy about playing time and transfers. It just takes that Wild West and makes it a Wilder West.
Is that what you think it means? Because I wonder about, I've kicked around, what does it mean for baseball, 34 scholarships? I don't think basketball, I'm not sure if it affects it all that much. Football, you got to lower your number of players pretty dramatically. You're upping your number of scholarships. When it sounds like you expect there are a lot more transfers, not into the probably in the program, but just a lot more transfers in the sport overall.
Yeah, and of the 105, how many are being happily paid? We don't know. But everybody's getting something, I'm assuming, on that level. But you're just going to see more acrimony. And got to remember also, if everything is headed in the right direction in calendar year 25-26, the money's going to flow in-house. And there's a lot of talk about collectives getting cut out. They want that money. They just don't want the collectives involved. And there's also all these rules, if you've read the fine print, that says the NCAA will have a committee, and every deal that a collective cuts has to go through them, and they have to approve it. Now, what kind of cluster bleep is that going to be?
And then you got coaches that right now are complaining about they're doing all this NIL by themselves. They're going to need, if the final say goes with them or maybe the athletic director, you need somebody else that's able to be a cap specialist of some sort, just like they have in the NFL.
Good for radio, though, guys. That's all I know.
It's a good thing we don't have to worry about all that, yes. Correct. It's very well taken. Bill, we'll leave it there. Appreciate you hopping on. Thank you very much. Yeah. We'll look forward to talking with you again.
Okay.
Thanks, Bill.
Bill King with us, Nashville Sports Radio. Looks like we have a gold medal winner for the women's gymnastics final. USA has done it.
And then Italy got the silver polish. And Brazil, not really known as a gymnastics powerhouse, getting the bronze. So pretty cool. They won, I think, Phil, when you win by over 5 points in gymnastics, I think that's like 4 touchdowns. That's
5 points is a lot.
Yeah, I think that's a whooping.
So let me take a quick look at the medal count here, because I guess, if you're rooting for your country, you're looking at your medal count. USA 21 medals, leads everybody for right now. France number 7. Do you go by overall medals, or Matt, or in your mind do you go by golds? Because the U.S. has 10 bronze, 8 silvers, 3. I think this would be the 4th gold. I just don't know if the ESPN medal tracker has counted the women's gymnastics final just yet.
Golds would be weighted a little bit heavier, maybe like the away goal used to be in the Champions League, where it's a goal and a half. So yeah, if you have more golds than the next person, but they have 4 more medals than you, you probably you're going with the golds, as long as you're up there, in the top 3.
Another gold for U.S. women's gymnastics. So now you got a bronze for the men yesterday. You got a gold for the women today. You don't just have to wait for the track events where you can really be paying it, because I do like the gymnastics events. That was fun. 877-377-6963 to get with us as we're into the home stretch of halftime, and we'll be right back.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
It started as a dream, and here you are. It's moving day. But wait, isn't moving supposed to be stressful? Oh, that's right. You bought your home using Weichert Realtors. Your Weichert agent guided you from start to finish to help make sure we found you your perfect place. Dream, move, home, Weichert. Call your local Weichert Realtors office today and make your move. And look for our bright yellow signs. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
When your job demands more than just hard work, trust Timberland Pro, the brand that defines superior comfort, performance, and durability. Built on a legacy of craftsmanship, Timberland Pro provides boots and apparel that stand up to the toughest challenges. Our products are as resilient as the skilled men and women who wear them. From the workshop to the job site, Timberland Pro is there with you every step of the way, blending innovation with time-tested quality. Discover why professionals choose Timberland Pro. Always do, never done. Visit timberlandpro.com or your local Timberland Pro dealer.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Valley Family Dental, formerly known as Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nuys work to give all of their patients a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5501 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farm. Now offering same-day crowns. 226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
When you need tough and paint just isn't enough, check out River City Coatings in Van Buren. When it comes to your metals, paint can peel and crack over time. Whether it's your patio furniture, rims or trims on your automobile, or heavy equipment, no one has time for a redo. Powder coating provides the toughness you need. Preserve your investment with powder coating from River City Coatings. River City Coatings, certified John Deere, Caterpillar, ISO 9001, Packer, and UL provider of tough. River City Coatings, 471-7675 or online at rivercitycoatings.com.
Man, I wish I knew you were here. We hear that every day at In Stock Parts, located off Highway 45 across from the cold storage in Fort Smith. Are you a maintenance technician, landscaper, farmer, or a do-it-yourselfer in need of bearings, belts, or roller chain? Or safety supplies like gloves, safety glasses, or earplugs? Maybe you need drill bits, tap and die sets, lubricants, or even a gas-powered pump or generator. Don't waste your time driving around. Stop by In Stock Parts, your industrial parts resource, or check them out online at InStockParts.com. In Stock Parts.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Have you tried the TGI Friday weekday deals? On Monday, they have 50-cent wings, traditional or boneless, 10-piece minimum. Tuesday, cheeseburgers and fries with a fountain drink for $10. On Wednesday, Cajun shrimp and chicken pasta for only $12. On Thursday, enjoy a half a rack of ribs for only $12. Stop by and check out the weekday deals at TGI Fridays, I-540 at Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. In here, it's always Friday.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drug Store has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drug Store can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Nobody on the road, nobody on on the beach. Feeling in the air. The sun was out of reach. Empty lake, empty streets. The sun goes down alone. I'm grabbing by your half. Oh no, you're not home. But you see, let's get shit in the sun. You got your head clean down. Surprise you around, baby. I love you.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Yankees and Cubs involved in a trade. Mark Leiter Jr. going to the Yankees. And infielder Ben Cowles and Jack Neely are going to the Cubs. This just happening just a few minutes ago. Boston Red Sox going to be getting right-handed reliever Lucas Sims from the Cincinnati Reds. Orioles acquiring Trevor Rogers, starting pitcher. So not the biggest deals just yet, but you still got till 5 o'clock for the big ones to happen. And I'm still hoping the Pirates get themselves a bat. That's what it is I'm looking for. And then tomorrow it's like, all right, these are your teams. And I think he can still bring a guy up after August, and he can play into September and get into the postseason. So pretty much your rosters are almost set by then. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts here as we go through halftime into our home stretch. See that there's fencing on in about an hour and a half. I tried to watch a little fencing last night. I can't tell who scores. Like these foils move too quickly. I can't tell when it's hit anybody. All I can go by is the reaction of the fencer, and I just got to trust that something happened because I can't see it happen. They're too quick.
It's like it almost makes me think of a catcher that kind of got warped into a different zone. It's like, all right, let's go put on this attire. It's like you're putting on your catcher's mask and your breastplate, and they get all jazzed up. But it's pretty cool. I couldn't tell you one single thing about fencing. Not at all.
Neither could I. Just know they use a foil. Handball is fun to watch. Now, I said handball to somebody the other day, and they were picturing, two old guys at the health club.
At the movie Big?
Bouncing a ball off the wall. That's exactly right. It was that big? There was also something about Tom Hanks movies in that sport because he's
sneaky
he plays
athletic.
handball against his brother John Candy in the movie Splash.
You know how
Candy's got a cigarette in his mouth.
People describe white athletes when they're kind of athletic. It's like, hey, he's sneaky athletic. Tom Hanks might be sneaky athletic, at least when he was in his 30s.
Yeah, get him on a handball court now. But this team handball is a totally different thing. I don't really know. It's like a combination. It looks like a combination of soccer, basketball, and hockey off the ice skates, no roller blades. It's a pretty physical sport. It's really quick, but it's also one of those sports that I watch a little bit with my father when we're on the trip. We go out for dinner with my mom on Sunday. They've got the Olympics on there, and my father keeps saying, now who the heck watches that sport? Now who the heck watches that sport? Look at all the people in this. I'm like, well, I don't know. Somebody's watching it somewhere because most of these people now are professionals. So somebody's watching team handball somewhere in this world and paid to be there. The crowds looked like they were pretty, I wouldn't say like full, but those people paid admission. They knew exactly what they wanted to go see. Team handball. They got a favorite player. Got a favorite team. Do we have a team handball league in the United States? Because I was watching the American team on Sunday, and I'm thinking, this looks fun. I wouldn't know you don't know the first thing about fencing? Matt, I couldn't tell you the first thing about where team handball is located in the U.S.
Seems like Michael Douglas might be on team handball as well. Chase Budinger, though, they won their first match. He's going over there for volleyball instead, and they had a good interaction of him seeing some of his former teammates. I guess not team, but they played in the same league together. Some of the NBA, some of the older guys in the Olympic team. So that was cool. I know a lot of people. I've been kind of checking that out, hoping, he played basketball your whole life, and then you kind of we got an Arkansas kid that's going to be a 28-year-old receiver. It's pretty cool. Somebody has that talent, has that drive, has that ambition, can do it, switch over, and then go play at the highest level. I don't care what you say, Phil. Playing receiver in the SEC, it's not the highest level, but, man, it's dang pretty close to the highest level.
Did you see, I saw one of the other sports that were on the other night was table tennis, and I'm like watching this. I think she's Japanese. I think she's Chinese. I'm sorry. I think she is Chinese.
I think I'm turning
And
Japanese.
she looked, I mean, she was like in her 60s. She is an Olympic athlete. She is 61 years old. Here it is. And she's playing for Luxembourg. She's not from Luxembourg. She's her name is Zia Lian. I don't exactly know where she's from, but she competed first in the Olympics at the age when she was in the year 2000, and now she's 61 years old. She represents Luxembourg. She is born in China, and that just kind of stuck with me a little bit. But it wasn't quite the same like power and speed as when I've watched the men play table tennis. But something tells me, I don't know if there'd be a 61-year-old dude playing table tennis, and they don't call it ping pong in the Olympics either, Matt. They use a whole different term for it. Like there's other terms for some of these sports, and that's not what they necessarily call it. You know, a sport I like to watch in the Olympics, volleyball, because it's really easy to understand. You know when somebody has scored in volleyball, even if you don't watch it much throughout the year, you can understand it.
Yeah, I saw the ending of the 5-set USA-China game that China was able to get the victory there. It's just pool play, though. Both teams go forward. But David Pavaki, so you're speaking of Romania. He won the gold in the 200-meter free for the Olympics, and they do a little behind the scenes or whatever they do. They talk. He likes to go around and eat cheeseburgers. That's his thing. When you're a 20-year-old Olympic athlete and you go around eating cheeseburgers, that's pretty. He's like, yeah, my diet, I like to, everywhere I go, my favorite thing to eat is I always eat a cheeseburger. It's like, yeah, that's sustainable.
Hey, I mean, I do a little bit of the same thing every once in a while. Maybe I'm not an Olympic
When you're an
swimmer.
Olympic swimmer, you can eat all the cheeseburgers you want. You'll
We
be
have chess
okay.
in the Olympics because if you're a chess star in the Olympics, maybe you could eat cheeseburgers all day long. But I don't know if I've ever heard of that quite before. Like that's the kind of diet that we pictured. Oh, I don't know, Babe Ruth.
Charles
had.
Barkley. Yeah.
Yeah. Was Barkley really eating cheeseburgers like that when he was playing in the NBA for all those years?
I think it was large Domino's. I think it was just give me a large pie, and then we'll take it from there.
Hey, speaking of cheeseburgers, we still have the qualifier ran out about 1:00 today. You're Ty Richardson, who was at the Hardee's location on Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith, and they'll be back there Thursday at the Rogers Avenue location, Hardee's in Fort Smith, for another qualifying round for the football trip of a lifetime. Brought to you by Hardee's, ESPN Arkansas, and HitThatLine.com. Want to see the Eagles take on the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium November the 10th? Don't want to pay for the tickets. Don't want to pay for the hotel. Well, just get over to Hardee's on 2720 Rogers Avenue tomorrow. And you got to be there from 11 o'clock until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, that's not tomorrow. That's Thursday. I'm a day ahead of myself because Wednesdays are so fun. Today's felt just like that. Finish your Monster Burger in 150 seconds, and you have a seat reserved in the finals. The finals will be August the 24th. One winner gets tickets and the accommodations to see the Cowboys and the Eagles on November the 10th in Arlington. And that's the football trip of a lifetime, brought to you by ESPN Arkansas, HitThatLine.com, and Hardee's. See what else. I saw. So this one, I don't know if you say this is like the biggest surprise. Coco Gauff lost yesterday, #1 in the nation.
The clay, the red clay, it gets you. It's tough.
It's where she had lost in the French Open as well. And so that means that, I mean, you host the Olympics in the same venue that hosts the French Open. You're using the exact same court surface. Does that mean Nadal will win?
No, Nadal got beat by the Joker, the tennis Joker, Djokovic.
He's already done.
Nadal's done. He's in doubles. Him and Andy Murray. Andy Murray's still trying to do his thing, but Nadal got beat in round 2 against Djokovic. It was their record is 31-29 against each other. Phil, how crazy! I mean, just class. I mean, just two kings of the tennis world. 31-29. They talked about it might be their last ever match, like in a professional setting, because they're both getting up there that they would meet. But yeah, he lost in straight sets.
Bob Holt sent a text in. Tom Hanks was also a table tennis star in Forrest Gump. See how good he is at being an athlete?
He can do it all, yeah.
Hey, he was a drunk manager in the League of Their Own. He was really good at that, too.
He was also a boat captain and an All-American kick returner for Alabama in that movie. Man, he was getting it.
Who realized how fast he really is? Then, he fell in love with a mermaid in one movie that I'd already brought up earlier. Has C Unit seen Splash? C movie.
He's on campus right now, but he's working. Oh, here he is. He's
See, now I might have assigned that movie to Ty Richardson. We're going to figure out what C movie we'll be watching this next weekend, because it was a League of Their Own. No, it wasn't League of Their Own. It was Thelma and Louise. I'm sure you've seen a League of Their Own, because we just brought up Hanks. Is there an Olympic movie? I could really ruin your weekend
Eddie
by
the
assigning
Eagle.
just an absolutely awful movie about gymnastics from the 80s. I'm pretty sure I assigned this one to Ty back in the day. It's called American Anthem. It's starring Janet Jones, who is Mrs. Wayne Gretzky, and I don't remember anybody else that was in this movie. It tried to capitalize on the gymnastics craze in the United States from the '84 Olympics, and it's horrendous. Like, I don't know if I really want to assign that one to you. I think I did with Ty, and he basically confirmed it was as bad as I remembered it.
Taron Egerton. I don't know if you know that name, Phil, but you know Hugh Jackman. Taron Egerton. He's an A-lister in Hollywood, no question about it. They did a movie, Eddie the Eagle. It's about the 1988 Winter Olympics. That's pretty good. It's got some star power there.
Sounds like it could be semi-educational. 1988 Winter Olympics, was that Lillehammer? I think
Calgary, I think, showing at the
Calgary.
Yeah.
All right, maybe Lillehammer was 4 years after. That's back when the Olympics were, the Winter and Summer Olympics were the same year. Now, I don't remember exactly when they stopped that plan, but it's been a while. But it used to be the same year. All right, we got to come back after a quick break. We'll wrap up halftime right after this.
This is halftime.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Your home is your biggest asset. So when you decide to add a sunroom, a patio cover, a new driveway, or new windows, you need to call a company you can trust. Sawyers has been part of your community for over 30 years. They're insured, licensed, and have 100% financing for all of their products. Take all the worry out of your next project. Call Sawyers and let them handle it from permitting to completion. Sawyers, serving the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas with a full showroom located in Fort Smith or online at sawyers-sunrooms.com.
Come get you some. 2728 Townsend Avenue is your off-road and performance center headquarters. They've got everything from lift kits, wheels, LED light bars, UTV parts and accessories, winches and tires. Need general 4x4 repair? No problem. Come Get You Some has one of the largest 4x4 shops in the States. They do it all, from installing a bug shield to building some of the baddest off-road machines in the country. Call them today at 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. Or check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
Hey, this is Dr. Charlie Liggett with River Valley Smile Center. We dial
782-8940.
Coach Todd Holland, head baseball coach of the University of Arkansas Fort Smith Lions. I call 782-8940.
Stay cool this summer with a York high-efficiency HVAC unit. Or for more information on endless hot water and high-efficiency tankless water heaters, give us a call at 782-8940.
That's 782-8940.
Brothers Roofing and Restoration, a licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Since his playing days for the Hogs, Brother Alexander has been on rooftops, many years as an adjuster, and in the past decade as a roofing contractor. He knows how to help you through the insurance process while replacing your roof using only the industry's best materials. And being a lifelong Arkansan, he'll be here to stand behind his workmanship and warranty. Call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother and his team to inspect your roof.
Warning, warning, attention all homeowners. Hi, this is Justin at West Termite Pest and Lawn. It's definitely bug season, and we are priced to earn your business. Licensed in Arkansas and Oklahoma. Call today for a free evaluation. 479-782-7291. West Termite Pest and Lawn, protecting your home, health, and peace of mind.
All services performed with children and pets in mind.
You will never find a boring old burger at Art's Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith. Try the Wild West Burger, topped with a hot link, jalapenos, and Art's hot sauce. The Brisket Burger, with tender brisket and caramelized onions on top of their ham-patted burger. Or the famous Art Attack, with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Myself in love with you. If I could find my reason, I'll face to live. What you have to do.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Back on halftime here. Anybody feeling like Razorback Nuggets today? This is the newest creation by Tyson Meats. I don't know they're going to be sold across the country. I saw they're being sold at Walmart, Northwest Arkansas, and Missouri, select Walmarts, but they are the Dino Nuggets that are reshaped, and they look like the Razorback logo. Helps when they're a sponsor because they had their logo right behind John Calipari at the presser yesterday, too.
The Arkansas Chicken Backs, man, they got it going on. I think they used the same mold as Dino or Dino, whatever the dinosaur dog is in the Flintstones, Dino,
That's
whatever.
Dino, yeah.
That's the same mold as what it looked like to me when I saw it. But hey, we can be the Arkansas Chicken Backs. I think that's a new thing. You know, there's a lot of Bears, a lot of Tigers. There's only one Razorback, but you know what? There's 0 Chicken Backs. So maybe
there's more than one Razorback. I think you got one. There's one in. There's a high school in Oklahoma. There's Texarkana. There's only one university that's Razorback, but nobody is Chicken Backs. Literally nobody is Chicken Backs.
I mean, marketing 101 right there.
It's just like what the Naturals did when they became the the Thunder Chickens, or just like the Springfield Cardinals do every once in a while. They become the Cashew Chickens. So you got it right there. You just have to not take yourself very seriously and be a minor league baseball team, which there is not a single athletic department amongst college sports that would think about doing that.
La Flama Blanca. Let's go get it.
We had knew this was coming down the pike, right? It was going to happen. Like when Cal becomes the coach, and you know it's because of John Tyson, and he says we're going to give X amount of dollars because of for NIL, and then you see the logo behind them replacing the UAMS logo that was on the press conference thing from the last few years. This had to be a thing.
Is there a way that you mark it up $1 and it says when you buy this that $1 is going to NIL?
Love it.
Like there's a way to go into it's like, hey, so I feel like I'm contributing.
You just fixed NIL, man. And you just got to go get a ketchup sponsor.
When we win the national,
I'm not dipping my nuggets in ketchup. I'm gonna have. There's gonna be some exotic sauce.
Yeah, some barbecue sauce or honey mustard. But when we win the Natty, nobody's ever won the Natty when they call it win the Natty. But when we win the national championship, instead of confetti, I want the chicken McNuggets. I want the Razor Nuggets to be falling out of the sky.
Raining Razorback nuggets.
That's right.
Cooked Razorback nuggets. Just have fun rushing the field when it's covered by cooked chicken nuggets. Hey, by the way, I feel like we should offer up a congratulations to Jocelyn Robertson, who was on the Arkansas gymnastics team. She is an alternate for Team USA. I don't know, she didn't take part in the competition, but she's there.
How cool!
And I'm assuming that as an alternate, you should get a medal as an alternate. You might not have taken part in the actual exercises, but she's on the team. I think it's a gold medal right there coming back home. That's cool. That's great. Fun stuff today. If you missed any of it, it'll be on the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast. And Ruskin and Zach will take some of these topics and turn it into their own, coming up just in a few moments. And tomorrow, another award-winning edition of Halftime will have Clay Henry, Grant Hall, to get into all the things. So for Matt Jones and Kristen Johnston, I'm Phil. We appreciate your ears. That's Halftime. Get up, get out, and get better.